Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back
to
it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me, absolutely happened to me. For years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week in Horn Lake, Mississippi, explosions ring out in the night, leaving a house destroyed and a woman horribly killed. Ruled an accident, investigators then uncover a heartless plot and even more planned murders. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another absolutely crazy episode of Small Town Murder. Hope you enjoyed last week in Michigan. We had two serial killer brothers, a chimpanzee. I had messages going, did you make that up? Like, that's how crazy that story was. It sounded like someone made it up. And I
never heard of it.
I'd never heard of it. And if you saw a movie of that story, you'd go, that's ridiculous. What a ridiculous story. That's how crazy that was. And this week, crazy also. We'll get to that. Before we do, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com is where you want to be.
Why would they do that?
For tickets to live shows, of course, especially Durham, North Carolina, May 31st. You are up next. Yeah. Still a few tickets left.
Almost sold out. It's so close.
Almost sold out. Next night in Nashville is sold out. So Durham, let's clean it up and get in there.
Yeah, let's finish
do that. That'll be a good time. And also get your tickets for later in the year because a lot of dates are already sold out. Places like Phoenix are sold out. And, they're selling out fast. So get in there. We opened up some new ones for Kansas City. So Kansas City, get your tickets right now. Do that. Also, get your merch there, too. There's new merch up.
Sure,
Murder Bird shirt, all sorts of stuff there. So get in there for that. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where you get all of your bonus material.
Hell yeah.
We got tons of stuff, and all it costs $5 a month. It's $5. That's it. A cup of coffee. What's $5? Honestly, things are everything's more than $5 now.
Yeah.
So, why not?
$5.
Let's do it. You're gonna
What do you buy for $5 now?
A cup of coffee is what you buy.
That's about it.
Or hundreds of back episodes of this show that you've never heard before of bonus stuff and new bonus stuff every other week. One Crime and Sports, One Small Town Murder, of which you get all of. So you can't go wrong. I'll tell you what, this week what you're going to get for Crime and Sports bonus, which you have access to, we're going to talk about the O.J. trial. O.J. Simpson, just the trial. We've talked about other things.
How did it happen?
Because people always go, they had DNA. I don't understand how he got off. Were the jury, were they brain damaged, these people, or what?
What's the problem?
I've watched all 496 parts of this trial on YouTube. And that's not an exaggeration either. That's how many parts there are. And I'll tell you exactly what happened because it's the perfect storm, and it unfolded this way, and it would have never happened again. So it's wild stuff. Then for Small Town Murder, we are going to go, this will be fun, we're going to go very specific inside Ed Gein's house. Let's do a house tour. Let's find out how Ed Gein lives his everyday life, and what's in there, what's he got in store for us, what's in weird jars and coffee cans and stuff all around. We'll find out all about that. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports. And you get a shout out at the end of the show, too.
Bet.
Jimmie, we'll mess your name up for you, so don't worry about that.
I have that.
That said, I think it's time. Oh, before we get to that, listen to our other two shows, Crime in Sports, which is hilarious, and you don't have to like sports to listen to it. And then also Your Stupid Opinions, which is the funniest damn hour in podcasting. So get in there and check that out. That said, disclaimer, it's a comedy show, everybody.
It is.
We're comedians.
We are.
People are going to die, and there will be jokes. But
of course,
the thing is how you mix those two things, and we do it tastefully is how we do
try,
it. That's how we like to say. Yeah, we go out of our way not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes.
Yeah, but
we're not scumbags.
There's the deal.
There you go. And that's the spirit of the whole show. And so it might not be as bad as you think it is. If you go, oh, God, what are they doing? Making jokes while people are being beheaded? No, that's not when we're making jokes. We're making jokes when someone's sitting there with a beheaded body afterwards going, I can get away with this. This is going to be fine.
Nobody's going to know.
That's ridiculous. That's when we're making jokes. So that said, I think it's time, everybody. Let's do this. Oh, by the way, if you think true crime and comedy should never go together, you might not like it.
Get out of here.
But you might. But probably take a hike. But for
give
the
it
rest
a try.
Of us, give it a try. For the rest of us that want to hear an insane story and have a good time, somehow intermixing those together, dancing tastefully, I think it's time. Let's all shout. Let's deep breaths, and let's all shout. Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, everybody.
Okay.
What do you say? Let's go on a trip, shall we?
We shall.
We shall. We are going to Horn Lake, Mississippi. Horn, Horn Lake, Mississippi.
Okay.
A lake with horns in it. This is in the severe northwestern part of Mississippi. This is it's a suburb of Memphis is really what it is.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's one of those.
Almost Tennessee.
Almost. It's like in Kentucky, there's suburbs of Cincinnati. It's that sort of deal here. Yeah. It's about 25 minutes to Memphis. And it's about 5.5 hours down to Biloxi, which is our last Mississippi episode. It's been a while since episode 438. An Officer and Three Maniacs was the name of that one.
Yeah.
And like always, Mississippi delivers the crazy also. They do. We say that about
burning, James.
Most states, but they really do. Mississippi brings it. West Virginia brings it. Ohio brings it. Yeah. Pennsylvania brings it hard.
I panicked when I was dating a girl and told her that I was in the service. When they asked me where, I panicked and said Biloxi.
Yeah, he wasn't in the service, by the way. That's the funny part here. So this is in DeSoto County.
Yeah,
it is because the explorer DeSoto came through here back in the day.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if he's the reason for the name of the DeSoto cars.
Probably not. He's a Spanish explorer that came in like the 1600s. I don't think
if he had a car, it would have made it easier.
Yeah, but he had he had stuff. There was horses involved, so maybe I'm not sure. But it's probably just some guy named Bob DeSoto that put out the DeSoto. The area code is 662. Motto here is doorway to Mississippi.
This is it, huh?
Sweep off the front porch. Come on in.
This is where you wipe your feet on the mat.
That's it. This is where the doorbell is. So,
a
little bit of history. Horn Lake received its name from an oxbow lake, which was 3 miles west, which was a former riverbed of the Mississippi River. The river changed course in the late 18th century. That must have pissed the people off who were living on it. And like, where the fuck did the river go? Shit.
It changed it on its own, like during a storm or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Back then, I don't know how they could change the course of the Mississippi. I don't know if we could probably. I mean, I'm sure we could dig enough to do it.
As far as I know, the Chicago River's the only one they've ever done it with.
Yeah, the Mississippi's goddamn huge too. That thing is
that'd be an undertaking.
It's a beast.
Yeah, they call it the mighty one.
Yeah, so I guess when the Mississippi changed course, it left a stranded body of water just sitting there. That's now a lake. It used to be part of the river, and it looked like a cow horn and became known as Horn Lake. So
sure, because it's probably like a leg of the river, and now it's not.
Yep, and they think that this happened basically in like 1765, between 1765 and 1795 is when the river changed course.
Sometime in that 30 years?
In that 30 years. They don't fucking know. Yeah, the records aren't good.
Wouldn't you want to know exactly when that happened?
You would imagine they would have records, but people were just writing shit down willy-nilly. So in this last century, this happened, and then they were like, well, when?
Somebody dropped that diary in the river.
Yeah. They basically found this from using old maps, and they were like, well, the river's here and before 1765, and all the maps have just a lake here after 1795. So sometime in there, we think they would have noted river changed course, wrote that down somewhere.
Not a river any longer. It's just standing still.
Weird. Used to be in a river, now it's dry land. Strange.
Lots of mosquitoes now.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to happen. Yeah. Settlers that moved into the area cleared the wilderness and started cultivating just shit to eat, subsistence living stuff for farming. Then cotton became the major cash crop, as we know. The railroad ended up coming in, and that, that popped the area pretty good here. Once the railroad comes in, then people want to be here. I guess freight-marked Horn Lake, intended for the families who lived in the region, were dropped off like just... They didn't have like a post office, so they just dropped it off in the road on Goodman Road. Mm-hmm. If you ordered stuff, they just drop off everybody's shit in the road in a pile.
Just leave it there.
Like all your Amazon packages you're like an apartment building basically in a city. Like you have to go into the mail room and it's a giant pile of Amazon packages to sift through.
Wow.
They used to just dump the shit in the road, which is pretty goddamn amazing. Eventually they built stores and a stockyard and cotton gins and blacksmith and all that stuff there. The first post office opened in 1853.
Wow.
So that's when it became official. There are several historic sites here. One is the Circle G Ranch, which was owned by Elvis. That's why it's a big deal. It's known as the Graceland honeymoon cabin, basically.
Oh.
It's his involvement. He bought it in 1967. He was on a trip to the country to buy horses.
And he found this ranch.
He just came across the ranch. It was named Twinkletown Farm, and he just liked it, and it had a big, giant white cross on it, which I hope was not on fire, but it wasn't. So
he soaked in kerosene.
Soaked in kerosene. So he saw that, and he caught his attention. He bought the property for $437,000 back then, which is like, $4 million now. That's a good chunk. He wanted to name the ranch Circle G, but he tried to register it under that and discovered another ranch already used that name.
To circle any letter is already done, man.
Yep. So he registered under it the Flying Circle G Ranch.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing here. So he then purchased a bunch of trailers so that his friends could stay on the ranch with him. He just made it like a party spot, basically.
Wow.
Bought a bunch of trailers. He brought a bunch of vehicles and agricultural equipment, a bunch of cattle. And
he really invested.
Yeah, he built a big fence around the place. I mean, he didn't. He paid people to, and then it became his country retreat, basically.
Fascinating.
And when he married Priscilla Presley when she was a child in May of 1967, they spent a few days in Palm Springs and then came home to the ranch on May 4th. And ever since then, it's been known as Elvis's honeymoon cottage. So,
gross.
Yep.
This is where he bangs kids.
This is where he bangs kids and rides horses. I wonder if he uses a trailer just to make it seem.
This is Elvis's Neverland.
Ugh, gross. Well, no, let's hope the same things weren't going on at Neverland. Show me your butthole. I hope that wasn't saying that to her. At least he wouldn't have sounded like that, so that's good.
Look at the cutouts of me.
Oh, man. He liked to fool around on the farm equipment and
gross.
All that kind of shit. Yeah, not fool around. Yeah. He liked to ride around. And,
he liked to fuck around and act like a rancher. Yeah,
come here, let me finger you while I ranch.
Finger you on this deer.
He sold the ranch in 1969, so he only had it for 2 years.
He had it for 2 years, and they're still touting it.
Everywhere Elvis took a shit, though, they do that. Elvis, it's like George Washington and Elvis. Anything they did, there's a sign and a plaque, and like we all have to remember it. So
his DNA is probably still there somewhere.
I'm sure it's somewhere, at least in the floorboards.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's dropped a few loads on the ground. So there's also the octagonal house, which is
another one of these,
which we thought, like, what is that? And then people, once we did that episode,
hundreds of them.
Evidently, every town in America has octagonal houses, and we just somehow have never run into one, like idiots in our 80 years between us. So, built in 1844, as for some doctor as a gift to his bride, it's a weird 3-level, 8-sided house.
3 levels.
3 levels, 8-sided, located on Horn Lake Road, just south of Nail Road. And I guess people come and look at the fucking place because it's different.
Stupid. Yeah.
So, reviews of this town. Here we go. 5 stars. Okay. Horn Lake is a nice place to live. However, a Whole Foods grocery is needed. Well, it's northwestern Mississippi.
I need almond milk.
It's, you know what? They're like, pork? And you're like, almond milk. Pork bellies? Almond milk. Back bacon? Almond milk.
Have you heard of kale?
Pork? It's not working, I don't think. They don't want that.
Silk.
Also, it appears that there are too many warehouses going up. Well, yeah, that's everywhere. So here's 4 stars. I moved to Horn Lake my 9th grade year. This sounds like it's going to be a memoir.
Who says it like that?
It's the first line of a memoir. I moved to Horn Lake my 9th grade year. All right, been here since I was 14. I'm currently 24 years old, and so far I haven't had any problems living here. It's a fairly small town, and everything's a great commute. A great commute makes it also.
Great commute.
This is an old-timey person. This is like a Civil War soldier who's been transported into modern times.
Mom, I'm going to set out on my great commute.
There's a great commute. I'll see everyone in the spring.
I'm going to Target.
Are the oxen saddled? Excellent. Walmart, which is fairly new, Kroger, hospital, shopping malls. So there's a Walmart, a Kroger, hospital, not a hospital, just hospital, shopping malls, etc. It is a good location thus far. You've been there for 10 years. It's not thus
what do you
far.
Mean, thus far? You're thriving, man.
Thus far on my great commute.
Who temporarily survives for 10 years.
And I do like my neighborhood. We stay in a cove, which I'll tell you what a cove is in a minute here, which eliminates traffics a lot. And my child... Plural. And my child can go outside and play without a big risk of traffic flow.
Okay.
You've had, I don't know how old the kid is. You're 24. The kid's running around. Good luck. Now, a cove is a cul-de-sac, by the way, in Mississippi talk.
Okay. In the old Mississippi.
That's what they call a cove down there. Yeah, I read that in the newspaper. So here we go. 4 stars. Memphis is forever my first love. Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
I love the highest murder rate in the country. That place is terrific. If you've seen the first 48, stay away from Memphis and Tulsa. Just stay the fuck away. They're both terrifying.
Bad places.
Bad places. You will be murdered. It's full of love and pride. The city of Memphis is like no other. You would have to be from here to really know the feeling. Okay, but that's not, you're reviewing this town. Not the city that's 25 minutes away from here.
Boy, do you long for Memphis.
Wow, I love Memphis. 3 stars. In Horn Lake, not a lot of sense of quote, community, in quotes for some reason. You didn't need to put that in quotes. Not a lot of sense of community. We get it. 2 stars. The crime in the city of Memphis has never been classified with a low level. Murders and violence are what all Memphians, not even Memphians, are used to and try to stay clear of. With race wars across America, cities have started to divide. What are you talking about?
What are you writing a fiction novel now?
Well, what is going on here? Yes, you got to meet up with I moved to Horn Lake in my 9th grade year and get you two together to write some kind of dystopian post-apocalyptic memoir.
What is this, fucking Escape from L.A.?
It happened in my 9th grade year.
The race wars broke out.
Memphis, however, has not. The crime rate has dropped, and police have even talked to the people of the city to decrease the violence and increase the support, love, and connection throughout different communities. Again, you're reviewing a small town near here, and you're talking about Memphis, and wow, okay. People in this town, 26,623, and it's
pretty good size place.
Grown dramatically lately too. Yeah. It's really spiked up because it's a suburb, so that happens. Way more females than males, 53% female. Median age is lower than normal. It's about 33 and a half, about 4 years under the average. Less people married here. More people married, 3 times the married single with children rate here also.
Wow.
So yeah, they people will be. It's a horny town. Good for you, everybody. Awesome. Sounds good. Race of the
and difficult to get along with, evidently, for long periods of time.
Apparently, yeah. Race of this town: 49.5% white, 41.3% black, 0.8% Asian, 6.1% Hispanic. So there's that. Religion, 55% of the people here are religious, which is, to be expected. It's a little high.
You know what it is.
And we're not going to be surprised here.
Yeah.
32.7% of the people here are Baptists. As we know, Baptists are the Catholics of the South. It's
Jesus.
Dominating the religious, dominating the western or the southern bracket of the religion Final Four here. So the unemployment rate here is about 5.3, which is slightly higher than the national average. It's about 4 right now. Median household income here is a little lower than the national average. It's $54,783. It's about $15,000 low. Yep. Median home cost here, though the cost of living, if 100 is average, here it's 92. So pretty close, but the housing is way low. Median home cost here, $171,300. So pretty affordable compared to a lot of places. So if we've convinced you, you want all the barbecue of Memphis without all the gunplay, we have for you, without being on the first 48, the Horn Lake, Mississippi Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for $1,070, which is a couple hundred below the national average. Here's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,049 square foot house. So little house.
Little guy, yeah.
There's only like one picture of the inside, which is frightening, and there's a big 4-post bed in the living room. So I don't know what's happening in this house at all. I don't understand it.
Bedroom's uninhabitable.
Either that or they were trying to take it out of the place and realized nothing would fit through the door and they just left it there. I don't know what's going on here. But
we got to take it apart, Lou. Fuck that.
It doesn't look great. $150,000 for that. Very little plot of land, too. Here's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,068 square foot. This is it's brick on the outside, kind of, but like the faux brick stuck to your, the brick face, not made of bricks.
Facade,
one of those. Facade, there you go. Standard, kind of nice house. It's boring, very boring. It says, though, quote, nestled in a quiet neighborhood, it offers harmonious fusion of style. There's it's just a house. It's the most basic, plain fucking house you're going to find. There's no harmonious shit. It's just fine.
Nothing welded together.
And it says perfect for the pickiest buyer.
Oh.
So are you the pickiest buyer? You might want to get here. And
evidently.
Move to Horn Lake. And here is a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 2,928 square foot house.
There we go.
On 1.1 acres, too.
Shit, yeah.
Nice house, nice acreage. It is somebody's grandma who went to church 6 days a week lived here.
Really?
It's just all religious stuff, and but like old lady religious stuff on like doilies and shit. You know what I mean? Like Jesus said this on a doily. You know, very old. This person who lived here so old that in the bedroom There's the bed with all the pillows and the nice pillowcase and all that kind of stuff. Next to the bed is a goddamn china cabinet. Nobody under 80 has a china cabinet in their bedroom, I don't think.
Especially in their bedroom.
I've never seen that before. That house is $429,500 there.
Very affordable.
Not bad for what you get there. It's actually not terrible. Did I say how much the second house was? I don't think I did.
It was
$335,000.
Oh, we didn't say that.
$335,000 for that second house. So things to do here. Here we go. The Magnolia Fest.
Oh, yeah.
Probably about 6,000 of those in the South, I think.
Right. Yeah,
Magnolia Fest.
Probably. Yeah, from fucking South Carolina all the way to the Mississippi.
All the way down through the Gulf there. Yeah. It features carnival rides, games, a rodeo, arts and crafts. It's the festival that every Hallmark movie where the lady who moved there because she was hurt and opened a cupcake shop finally she's been cold to that guy, the local guy who's owns his own little business and he does okay. She's been kind of cold to him, but this is the night where she comes here and, he wins her like a teddy bear and she gets some cotton candy and everything kind of comes together. And once the fucking Ferris wheels get stuck up there, they're making out with a view of the city when the fireworks start. We know that fucking movie. That's the movie.
Starring Bridget Fonda.
And her bid for a comeback. So they say the DeSoto County city of Horn Lake, again this year, holding the Magnolia Festival. They say there's a rodeo, which included cowboys from all over the South who travel to attend and participate. Many of them seasoned riders. I hope all of them are. It's a rodeo.
They fucking better be.
They're going to die otherwise.
Yeah, literally. If this is your first rodeo, try somewhere else.
No shit. That's literally an idiom. It's not my first rodeo. I'm not a moron, is what that means.
You don't want to do that.
No, it's not only a hobby, but in some cases a business on the national circuit. Entrants paid a fee to ride the bulls and broncs. In some cases, $1,000 plus to get a chance at winning. Whoa,
that's a gamble,
man. You are, This is like FanDuel for fucking for people
like
who want to be kicked in the head with by a horse.
That's the point. Like you're gonna lose $1,000 and lose your teeth. Like what the fuck? What a gamble,
fucked, man. They talk about last year's. Prior to the first event of the evening, a children's scavenger hunt in the arena allowed kids 10 years old and under to search for an unknown item that held a $20 bill. It didn't take long for a young boy to find it, grinning with glee at the reward of his effort and showing the audience the $20.
With bullshit all over him.
Wow, just covered in, it's going to cost way more than that
bullshit.
For new shoes. Because he's been traipsing around in cow shit for the last fucking hour trying to find it.
Digging in it.
Oh, my God. They say they had after that, they had the U.S. flag carried by a young cowboy on horseback.
Right.
He stopped midfield for the national anthem as the audience of spectators and cowboys all rose to their feet. As the national flag exited the arena, the announcer introduced the first event of the evening, bronco busting, and the first cowboy, 28-year-old Paxton Ray of Calera, Alabama, which we did an episode on, riding Pal. He said, quote, I'm a full-time electrician in Calera, but rodeo is my passion.
I'm going to break my back tonight.
I'm going to forget everything I know about circuits and voltage and all that shit. So when I learned about the Horn Lake event, that was the first time a rodeo was happening here. I knew I had to be a part of it, so here I am.
Wow.
Well, here you are, mister. There you go. I guess he said he'd only been riding 8 months. So
he's about to die.
He lasted 8 seconds on Pal and then was
that's not bad.
That's not.
That's
he wasn't earned him 70 points for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
The guy said, they asked him if he liked bulls, and he said, like riding bulls. I like the horses and prefer them to getting stomped on by a 1,500-pound bull.
Yeah, and they've got a longer ride. Like the buck of a horse is a much bigger teeter-totter than a bull. A bull's just a fucking
It's
whip,
up and down. Man. It's a whiplash machine. That's all those fucking things are. It's hard on your neck. So the bands that they have here, Flying Oysters will be there.
Oh, the Flying O.
The Flying on a Thursday.
Oysters.
So you know they're in demand when they're playing the rodeo festival on a Thursday. And then on Friday, you know this band is hard to come by. The Free Band.
Oh.
We don't... Does that mean you just don't charge? We'll show up with our instruments and shit.
I mean, you're never getting paid for this if that's what you call yourself.
The Free Band. crime rate in this town, we are interested in here. Property crime, right at average. So right there, which is surprising. I don't know. It seems like it's a lot of coves going on here, all sorts of, doesn't make sense. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault here. The Mount Rushmore of crime is about 1/3 of the national average. So that's way low. So it makes no sense what's going on here. I don't know.
So far from Memphis.
Kids are vandalizing your car or some shit maybe. That's it, but they won't hurt you if you catch them. I don't know. Either way, that said, let's talk about some murder, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about this crazy stuff. Before we get into the murder, I also want to say stick around to the end of the episode because we are going to give an update on one of just the sickest people we've ever had as a small-town criminal murderer, who may be on a street near you very, very soon. Put it that way. It's a little disturbing, and we got that for you at the end of the show.
Careful what strangers you interact with.
No shit. A nice update here. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about some murder. December 19th, 1994. Okay. Loud explosive bangs ring out in the early morning hours. Several, a couple. And we're talking 5 o'clock in the morning. 5:30 in the morning-ish.
And it ain't the air whistle telling everybody it's time to wake up?
Nope, it's not the church bell. It's none of that shit. It is. It's not the cotton bell and nothing. So it's December, so that's very dark out at 5:30 in the morning in December. So it feels like the middle of the night. The whole neighborhood's, holy shit, what the fuck is that? And from next door comes Linda Leedom, Leedom. She, at this point, is 40 years old, and she's the next-door neighbor. She runs over there. The fire department is called by several different neighbors. The fireman said, we received the call at 6:57, and the fire was coming through the roof when we arrived at 6:01.
Oh, it's over.
So that is an aggressively fast fire. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
I mean,
and you're not fighting that.
No, right after
everything's on fire.
Right after the explosions, they called the fire department, and I mean, there was in 4 minutes the thing is engulfed, which is a very fast-moving fire. That's
a dry house.
That's not a smolderer there. Yeah, no. That's there. Inside the house, they find one person in the house.
Oh,
and it is a woman. here. She is 47 years old. She is Lula Ann Welch Young. And Welch is her maiden name. She's married, and she does Welch Young later on. So Lula Welch Young here. She is found dead inside the house.
Oh no!
She has died of smoke inhalation, and we'll talk about her wounds a little later. She's found between the foot of her bed and the wall. They said, quote, as if she was trying to get out. That's what the firefighters said when they found her. She was found unconscious but alive. She was pulled out by firefighters with first and second degree burns on her chest and stomach, and died of smoke inhalation before the ambulance even could arrive.
Damn it.
So this woman, horrible. One of the reporters said she died from breathing in the smoke. I can't imagine the horrors she went through in her last moments of life, which,
Yes, you can. It's bad.
You know what it is, and it's awful.
It's the worst. Yeah.
It's when you see that scene in a movie where they're trapped in a room in the flames. And
you got that panic.
It's the panic.
No.
Yeah. It's the panic of water rising in a fucking boat in the Titanic. Those the couple laying in the bed waiting for the water to come. It's that same kind of panic.
Fucking anxiety is horrific.
It's horrible. They said an autopsy had been requested anyway, just in case. Yeah. So right away, just from the initial look through, the cops, the firemen and arson investigators are trying to determine the source of the fire. And they say, quote, this is the fire investigator, as far as we have been able to determine, the fire probably began from a faulty extension cord.
Oh, no.
They found a frayed extension cord on a space heater that was on.
Why is it always a goddamn space heater?
It seems like if you buy a space heater, it's 50-50 it's going to kill you. Right?
And you're required to plug that into a really shitty outlet.
Well, your worst extension cord and your most overloaded outlet is what it is.
Not plugged into the wall. But for Christ's sake, you can't.
An extension cord plugged into a splitter, plugged into like a six-way.
Some sort of power strip that's fucked up.
And that's fucked up and has like your TV and all your stuff and lamps and any other high voltage things you might have is plugged into that. And then all of that goes into one plug in the wall. It's not even a grounded one. It's one of the two-prongers. So perfect. That's the only, I believe that's code for a space heater, right?
It says it in the instruction manual.
Yeah.
If you plug it into the wall, they'll arrest you.
I've seen the diagram of it. It shows many, many plugs going into one extension cord going into an ancient outlet, I believe. So that's horrible, man. Her son's name is Mike. He said the term we got that they told the family was that the house literally exploded.
Jeez,
your mom's house exploded is a tough
from a frayed extension cord. If that's true, I'm throwing out all my extension cords.
We'll find out if that will catch fire and other things that are explodable will then explode. That's the problem. Is if that catches something else. He said it literally exploded. So I was trying to figure out how the house could blow up. Nothing in the house was gas, so how could the house explode? She was scared of fire. That was her biggest fear.
Oh, Jesus, and she knew it was going to happen?
Which she is a brave lady, as we'll find out, and a fucking tough lady we're going to find out in her life here. Absolute fucking, she's a savage in terms of toughness. She is really,
she
really
knew,
tough.
She knew, James.
She knew. Someone in the neighborhood said everybody that knew Ms. Young thought she was a good person. People were really, really sad that she had died. A good neighbor, literally gone. Well, in the ground now.
You could just say gone. You don't have to say literally.
Literally gone. We get it. She's not here anymore. Now, Linda Leadham, who was the fireman found crying in the front yard and, was while they were doing this, she just stayed in the front and was staying out the whole time. She is Lula's best friend.
Yeah, neighbor,
for years.
Of course, sure.
For over 15 years, they've been best friends, like sisters. So a few days later, Linda writes a little editorial in the local paper saying, I quote, I lost a sister, companion, best friend, and confidant. All was lost due to an accident that could have been preventable, but wasn't.
Yeah.
So, Now, relatives said that, this is the biggest shame because Lula had pretty aggressive cancer a few years back.
Oh.
As we'll talk about, we'll go through. She got a terminal diagnosis.
Yeah.
And then a few months before this fire was just declared cancer-free.
What?
She beat her cancer, and at least it went into remission for now.
Unbelievable.
And so they were saying, at the time they were saying, yeah, I mean, she was in remission, but maybe it would have come back. And her relatives were trying to say, maybe this was better this way, that she didn't suffer through a long cancer. But it's like, Jesus, she could have lived another 20 years for Christ's sake, too, at the same time.
She burned to death, you guys.
Yeah,
what that's saying?
That's worse. Dying in a... When you really hate somebody, when you see someone on the road do the shittiest fucking maneuver possible and cut you off and almost fucking cause an accident with 3 other people, you go, die in a fire, motherfucker, out the window. Because that's the worst thing you could think of.
You don't scream, die of lung cancer.
No.
You say, die painfully on fire.
And terrified, by the way.
As you watch the blood come through your skin, die in a fire, motherfucker.
Watch the flames creep toward you as you sit in terror and huddle in the corner of the room with your children.
So much
That's
pain.
what it's about. Yeah. That's fucking crazy. So,
well, your skin blisters and the life comes out of those blisters, you bastard.
But they were like, they had watched her suffer for years, so they were like, I don't know. Maybe I think they were just trying to find...
They're finding closure. Yeah.
Any kind of closure.
Sure.
A little bit about Lula here. She grew up in Arkansas and Mississippi. Her family moved around a lot, from what I understand here. She moved around quite a bit. Her parents' names were Oscar and Flora. Oscar's going to die in 1990, we'll talk about. And Flora will live a long time. We'll talk about that, too. She'll live till 2019, Flora.
Jesus.
So she lived, I think she was in her 90s when she died.
Almost 30 years without Oscar.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That extended her life. Oscar might have been a pain in the ass. We don't know. That's what happens to a lot of these old ladies. They lose a husband. Both my grandmothers did that.
It's
grandfathers died early. Another 30 years they went on just fine. Had a whole other life after that.
It's rare that a guy outlives his one and only for 30 years. Women do it all the time.
All the time. I think part of it was back then all these guys were in wars. I think that who knows what the shit kind of chemicals they were exposed to. Like both my grandfathers were in World War II. Imagine the horrible things.
The amount of lead alone is crazy.
What was going on. So I feel like that's part of it also. They all died early. Yeah.
Well, there's something right now that exists that we're exposed to that in 20 years they're going to say, I can't. It's going to lead to the conclusion that we all had cancer. And
I'm sure.
Cancers are on the rise in young people, and it's probably from these goddamn computers. We don't know.
Yeah, that was the oldest thing you've ever said. Cancer's on the rise among the young people, and I think it's because of these damn computers. That's what's going on.
It's a fad, I tell you.
They put them in their pockets right next to the penises, and what do you expect's going to happen? Of course they're going to have cancer. Check the rates of penile cancer. They're through the roof, I'm sure of it.
It has to do with all the Wi-Fi. It's got to.
This Wi-Fi, I don't know what they even want with this, but that's what all the kids want. Wi-Fi. I don't even know what that is.
What's the chemical that makes this Wi-Fi happen?
I don't know where it is. I said I don't have Wi-Fi. Can I get a bottle of it? This is like a 2 liter of Wi-Fi. What do you want from me?
It's got to be fucking patented by DuPont, right?
I think it's bad. I think it's bad and it hurts us. That's all I'm going to say.
It's patented by Roundup.
That's what it was. It's Monsanto makes Wi-Fi, and I know they do. It's poison. It's GMO Wi-Fi. It's a problem.
Blackfish Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. So the Lula, back to her here, growing up with Oscar and Flora, traveling around Arkansas and Mississippi. She has 2 brothers and a sister. Her brothers are Randy and Bobby, which sound like guys from Arkansas and Mississippi.
Sure do, yeah.
Randy and Bobby Welch, That's great. And Nettie is her sister.
Oh,
Nettie. Nettie.
That's another cowgirl name.
Absolutely. Lula married her high school sweetheart. Okay. So she's born in 1947. In the mid-'60s, she marries her high school sweetheart. Just at the time, that's the typical...
She's doing it.
She's doing a John Cougar Mellencamp song all over again. Problem is, they'll have 2 kids, which are good. They have Stacy, who's the daughter. She's the younger of the 2, and Michael, who we talked about before. It's the son. He's the older child. Okay. Problem is, they're going to break up. Though Lula and her husband here are going to break up, and he's going to kind of take off and leave her as a single mom with 2 kids here.
Oh, attaboy.
In the late 80s, or the late 70s, I'm sorry. Like 1978, they break up. Okay. 1981-ish, they get a divorce. So she's got to figure out what to do here. She's got to get a career going and all this kind of thing. She works for a little while as a secretary on the oncology floor of a hospital.
Oh.
Which, man, that is...
She's watching that?
People who can do that, man, hats off to you, because that is
good. That might be why she was able to beat cancer.
Maybe
because
the woman's seen people do it.
She's seen it. She knows what it is.
She knows. Maybe, yeah. Some people that would make them 10 times more scared, and some people that would make them a little braver because it's not this black cloud mystery. Right. They see it a little.
She's
bit
seen people with terminal diagnosis, so she's
and she's seen them die, and she's seen them live.
She's seen them thrive. Sure.
So she's seen it all here. So, but I mean, anybody that can do that, I'm bad with I'm pretty empathetic when it comes to shit. Like if I had to work in an oncology floor at a hospital 4 days, I would kill myself afterwards. Probably, I wouldn't be able. It would make me so fucking.
You don't
depressed.
think you'd make it to your first paycheck?
I don't think I would. No, I don't think I would, dude. I really don't. One of the
I don't know, man.
There's a nest on my in my porch, a bird's nest, and every year for the last 3 years, birds have laid eggs in the nest. I show them to you. I send you pictures. I get all excited, and then at some point, the eggs fall out, or the birds just abandon the eggs, and they never hatch, and that's that. This has happened every year. This year, I finally have these fucking eggs, right? And the bird keeps on them, and even when we go outside, the bird will sit on them and look at us like, "Don't come near me, motherfucker."
Great.
It's just this little sparrow. So finally, eggs hatched. And
unbelievable.
One of them's adorable, and you look at it, and it puts its little mouth up and tries to eat worms and shit. They're cute. One of them fell out of the nest.
Oh no!
One of them fell out of the nest. So there was two. Now there's only one, and somehow we couldn't find the little bird body because we were like, where'd it go? But Oscar found it, my dog, because he's a bird dog. And he came in the house with the look on his face like, I'm not holding anything in my mouth that I shouldn't have.
No, I don't want to lick you right now.
And he had a baby bird corpse in his mouth.
Oh, God
and
damn it.
I got to tell you, I'm sad about it. I feel terrible. It's a house sparrow on my porch. If you go outside my house, there's 8 million birds?
Yeah.
I'm just like, that poor little... I have thought about that bird way more than I probably should. So I could not deal with human beings in a cancer ward. That would be horrible.
Birds are awesome, though. I like
them. I'm happy they're there.
I just like the little ones, the ones that seem like vulnerable. I got a hummingbird when I water my lawn.
They're adorable.
It flies up the stream of my nozzle, I guess, and it bathes in the fucking mist, James. And I love this. I see it every morning, and it tickles me like crazy. I love it so much.
They're awesome,
But some people, I think you'd be surprised. I think that there'd be some jerk that gets cancer and comes in there, and you got to treat him, and you're like, just die. I don't want to treat you.
If you're a big enough dick, I don't feel bad for you, whatever you have. At one point, I'll go, that's why you have cancer, you fucking asshole. Yeah. You never learn how to fucking treat people. That's what happens.
Yeah, I guess that's the equivalent of the bird that shits on your freshly washed car.
Exactly.
I like birds right up until they shit all over my stuff.
Then it's the worst. Then it's, hey, you motherfucker. Yeah. So Lula ends up also, after she's a secretary, I guess she's interested in the medical field, and she trains as an EMT. So and she
wants to do the emergency stuff,
gets her license and all that, and she'll end up getting her nursing license and everything like that. So that's the path she's going to take. And her friend is Linda, that we know from next door here. Now, Linda Leadham, we'll talk about her family. She's got a husband. They were married here. His name's Gary Leadham. He drives a truck in Memphis and, quote, operates a gun shop out of their garage.
That's not
a gun shop. He sells guns out of their garage.
That's a dangerous man. That's what that is.
He operates a drugstore out of their fucking living room. No, he doesn't. He just sells people pills.
He's just doing bad stuff.
That's interesting. Just in their little ranch style, 1-story home, you pull in and you can just buy some guns.
Jesus.
I pictured it like a big fucking...
there's
like a big
illegal
piece of plywood
things.
with red paint just scribbled Gary's Gun Shop on it.
Gary's Guns.
Yeah, and it's crooked, it's all fucked up, and he's just like, sign makes it legal. That's the rules, buddy. So that's her husband.
Yeah.
They have daughters. They have two daughters here, too. Jennifer, who's born in 1971, and Melanie, who's born in 1973. Okay. And these two women meet as neighbors in the 1970s, 77, 78. And they're two young mothers. They both have two kids, and they're in the ballpark of the same age.
Sure.
So their friendship is just immediately struck up here.
Yeah.
It's all about their kids. They both take care of their kids during the day. When they needed to go shopping, like when the kids were little, one would keep the kids while the other would go shopping for both of them. Just give the other one the list, and she would shop for them, and they'd take turns doing it. They were really trying to help each other out here. It really grows, and they became best friends. After the divorce, after Lula's divorce, they both entered training to be nurses because she was like, well, I'll do it with you. You need a career, and a little extra money wouldn't help me either. I don't know I don't know how the Glocks are selling this week, so I don't know, how that's going to go. So I could use a little extra income, and they decide to do that there. Eventually, Linda will move into a house on the other side of town, which is still 5 minutes away or 10 minutes away, but they still remain close, and then they end up living next to each other again after that. So, but for years they lived on the same cove, which is a cul-de-sac again in Mississippi, and Linda ended up moving into a bigger house is why she moved. But it's mainly about their children and then the work and everything like that. Lula would often take care of Linda's daughters in the morning when Linda worked late at night on various projects, which included a tax preparation business with her father, and Linda was in the management of a dozen rental properties as well.
Wow, she's busy.
She worked for somebody, yeah. So she's trying to put it together. I think that's why she wants to be a nurse, to try to just do one thing.
Yeah. Put in 40 and go home.
And she's doing things like where she'll do all like the tax prep stuff and all that kind of shit. She does that after the kids go to bed.
Oh, God.
So that's what I mean. She'll be up late at night working on the tax prep till 2 o'clock in the morning, and then the kids got to get up for school and have breakfast and all that at 6 a.m. So Lula helps out by taking the kids in the morning and taking them to school and doing all that shit and letting Linda get some sleep. So these two just really lean on each other, and it's handy to have somebody that can fill in your weak spots. You know what I mean? That's really, really handy, actually. So one of the relatives said Linda and Lula was two people. If you seen one of them, you seen both of them.
Do they mean one person?
Was two people. If you seen one of them, you seen both of them. Linda and Lula was two people.
Yeah.
If you've seen one of that, you can hear the accent in that.
You bet.
It's
you know
hard.
who said that.
Yeah. That guy fights at Waffle Houses late at night.
And mixes up sayings all the time.
All the time, yeah. So Lula's son said that they were inseparable, especially after the divorce. Mike, Lula's son, said Linda was somebody Mom confided in, which makes sense. The daughter here, Stacy, she said that, they'd been friends for a long time, and she said that the way she looked at Linda as like another mother, like it was like they were sisters, basically, the two ladies. She said, I just go in her house just like I would Mama's. Meaning Linda. She just walked right in her house like it was her house. No problem. That's that's the arrangement, though.
Yeah, if that's the arrangement, that's fine. But don't just, because you like me, just walk in my shit.
This is the kid would just be able, the kids were both welcome to come and go from the other houses like they were their kids.
It's pretty amazing.
I mean, wow, I don't want anybody's kids in my house that fucking often.
Yeah, I just don't want them doing that.
Can you imagine you have two kids and then you go to the bathroom and come back and now you have 4 kids? No. Right. I didn't. No. You back home.
You just put a 12-pack of beer in the fridge and go to take a shit. And then you come out and somebody's drinking your beers. Who are you? Why are you in my house?
What is going on?
Hey, Dad. No.
Oh,
you got it, Dad. Get out.
Get the fuck out. So Stacy says, I have had to maintain contact with her, meaning Linda, ever since Mama died. She was the executor of my mother's estate. Anything either Michael or I needed, we went to Ms. Leadham. They went to Linda for it. It's just the way it was. She said Mom, Flora Welch, said they were very close, those two. Lula kept her children while Linda worked, and Lula treated her like part of the family. Linda had come to our family reunions also, says Lula. Wow. Even when there's a family reunion, Linda's there. They are like family. She said that Lula told me repeatedly that Linda was her best friend. Linda came to the funeral. She spent the night at a motel in Grenada, Mississippi, and came to the house and visited with the relatives, and she cried her eyes out at the service. So, member of the family there. So, now Lula ended up being a medical transcriber at Memphis Baptist Hospital. And she did nursing stuff on the side, as they're going to start like their own little business, like a little home health care business where they'll come and, check your blood pressure or do nurse shit like that.
Nurses,
Yeah, that sort of deal here. So she has that, and she has the medical transcribing at the hospital. And first Lula began working as an LPN, licensed practical nurse, and then started volunteering also with the Horn Lake Fire Department as a bookkeeper before getting her EMT license. So they're very active, these two ladies.
Who knew the fire department needed bookkeepers?
I didn't know. I guess you would, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess if you have to buy a new hose, someme's got to write that down.
You got to know,
Dog
you got to
food.
know if you can.
Yeah, they got to. How much wax do they go through for those fucking things? Honestly, there's a firehouse by my house, and I can see the yearly breakdown of what I pay in taxes directly to the firehouse on
Really?
here. Yeah, you could. It's dude. I could fucking the amount
tell you where
of,
everything goes.
The amount of turtle wax that fucking I swear, all they do is wax. Every time I pass by, they're waxing the fucking trucks. It's like, listen, I think you could
Maybe
spend
we don't wax it so much.
half the money if you just have some spots on the truck. And I don't care. If you show up and my house is on fire, I'm not going to go, hey, that truck isn't shiny enough. Fucking put my house out. I don't care. What are we doing?
Also, I mean, can't you wax paint off eventually?
I mean, it can't be good
Clear
for
coat?
you.
Can't waxing it too much be bad?
Well, then you got to pay for it to get repainted, too. That's my point.
Yeah, now you're going to pay for a clear coat, Jay.
What are we doing? Yeah. Are we wrapping these things? Help me. Make it cheaper.
And firemen are fucking jacked. Those guys are going to really strip that paint.
They're eating good, too, in there. That's the other thing. What's that costing?
And what year's this fire?
The fire was in 94. December 19th.
Young then, yeah?
Yeah, 47.
That's way too young. Oh,
too young.
Jesus Christ.
Way too young to die of either fire or cancer, really. That's just either way, too young. So
way too alert and like with it to understand what's happening.
Oh, she wasn't like 90 and riddled with dementia going, is someone here? Is that a Jehovah's Witness at the door as the flames engulf her and catch her nightgown on fire? No, she's crawling to escape when she's fucking burned alive.
God damn it.
Oh, my God. So Lula worked for the ambulance corps for the fire department as a volunteer. And they said she did this strictly volunteer. We're a paid department now, but we still run volunteers, and she was on the volunteer role. She was a very nice person, very easygoing, Lula. Okay. So everybody likes Lula. I think it's 89, she is diagnosed with breast cancer.
Fuck.
And Linda's the first person she tells. Mm-hmm. And the thing is they told her that it had already progressed pretty good. And 1990 is not 2024 in terms of cancer treatment at all.
Right.
That is doesn't seem like it, but that's 35 years ago. And it's there's been a lot of advancement since
my
then.
friend's dad across the street was diagnosed with leukemia, and within like 6 months that man was dead.
Yeah. I mean, and people, I'm sure they just got also a lot of late stage diagnosis, and you know, that's just, you kind of fucked after that, but still, it's there's a lot better, more effective cancer treatments now than there was in 1990.
Certainly.
And so, she told her that, you know, she has cancer. It's the first person she entrusted that to. When Lula had gallbladder surgery, Linda stayed overnight with her at the hospital and everything, and slept in her room and everything like that. Lula ends up having a radical mastectomy in April of 1990.
Breast cancer, huh?
She is fighting it, absolutely. The cancer then returned, and when it returned, they told her that it's terminal. You're done, basically. And that was in 1990, 1991. But she said, not happening.
Wow.
Lula said, I don't really care what you're saying right now. I've seen people beat this before my eyes, and I'm going to fucking do it too. Yeah. And I think the attitude is a good part of this. You know what I mean? That's a big thing from what I've seen here, from my anecdotal experience in the field of cancer with, you know, all of our relatives having cancer all the time.
Yeah.
You and me.
It seems that no family member is fucking safe.
It's really just popping up like crazy, and it's depressing.
Too much.
Yeah, Lula had multiple chemotherapy and radiation treatments after the surgery. Yeah. And, her friends said they were very painful and caused her to be sick. And when they'd have to take Lula back to the hospital, we'd hear it first from Linda, and she'd be at the hospital to meet us when the family arrived. So she is right there with her all the time.
She was the mouthpiece. She was telling everybody where to go.
Yeah, because she was the one who took her to the hospital. Yeah. That's why, because Lula would have called Linda to say, I need to go to the hospital. Linda would have said, I got you. Be there in 5 minutes,
Unreal.
Let's go. So, her sister here, Lula's sister, said that the family dealt with the condition kind of on a day-to-day basis. They said she had been down sick for so long, she had times when she just couldn't get up and go. But then on her good days, she wanted to go out shopping. She wanted to sit up at night and play cards. Yeah. We knew it was coming, but we didn't expect it this way.
Right.
It was weird. So Linda always has Lula's back, though. I guess they talked all the time. Her sister said, Lula's sister said they shopped together. They went out to eat together, meaning Linda and Lula. She said, I'm sure Lula told Linda things she'd never tell Mama or any of us. For one thing, she didn't want to tell Mama how much she hurt, how bad the cancer was, because she didn't want Mama to worry. Mm-hmm. Meaning her mom. She didn't want her. And meanwhile, her mom lived another 30 years, which is wild. So that her mom was also dealing with Dad just died in 1990. So Oscar dies. She's got terminal cancer at the time. That's tough on Flora, the mom. Mm-hmm. So she said they said that even Linda would come through for Lula in difficult times when the family didn't even know Lula was having tough times. She said, quote, when Lula's light bill was too high. I like how, by the way, in the South, electric bill is the light bill. Yeah. There's several. It's not even just the South. There's several parts of the country where it's the light bill.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. When Lula's light bill was too high, Linda had bought her groceries. When the cancer made it difficult for Lula to get around, Linda took her places in her van, allowing Lula to lie down in the back. So she chauffeured her around, bought her groceries for her, did all of these nice things. Lula's sister said that Lula was a very giving person. She said, quote, she didn't want to take more than she could give. Her neighbors went grocery shopping for her after she got sick and cleaned her house and painted her room for her, and they were doing it to pay her back for all she'd done for them.
Wow.
And it was mainly just Linda doing all that, by the way, not just neighbors. It was neighbor. So the sister also said that Lula had taken children in who needed help from time to time. She said she was one of a kind. We were 100 miles away because she was in Horn Lake and we were down here in Grenada County. But it was nice to know they thought that much of her to brighten up her room when she came home from the hospital. It's nice to know that she's loved. So they said nobody ever looked after her the way her friend Linda Leadham had, though. Nobody. Yeah. An ambulance driver said because of Ms. Young's illness with the cancer, we had to take a number of runs to her home. I met Linda Leadham at the home on a number of occasions. Linda introduced her as her best friend. I would say they were very close. So, no doubt. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. The most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going. Look good out there. And you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank. Because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford,
Absolutely.
which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, well, still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad.
Right.
There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
it's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it, and get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Yeah. By the way, during the gallbladder surgery, not only did Linda stay overnight with her, she also planned with her family to throw a surprise birthday party for her in the hospital because she had to have the surgery and was still recovering on her birthday.
On her birthday. Wow.
Yeah, which is really cool. Now, Lula and Linda also started a home health care business together.
Right.
So,
thing.
and it was a legitimate business that they started, LLC and all that kind of thing. So they had life insurance policies on each other, which is funny because so do we. You know what I mean?
We just did that. Yeah.
If you hear a podcast that's been around a while and there's commercials on it, those motherfuckers have life insurance policies on each other.
They're protecting each other. Yeah.
They're protecting. Like Jimmie is worth way more dead than alive to me. But exactly. But here's how I know that I love him. I still don't want him dead. I would still rather he lives. I'd rather make less money and have you live. That's how I know I like you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works, though. You have to have that. So as her illness worsened, though, I guess she knew. Basically, Lula said Flora did not want life insurance from Lula. She didn't want to be Lula's beneficiary because she said she didn't like profiting from a death. It made her feel
Linda
bad.
didn't?
No, Lula's mother.
Lula didn't want Linda. Oh, no. Lula's mother.
Lula's mom, Flora, didn't want to be a beneficiary because she said, I don't want to profit from somebody's death. That would feel weird.
Sure.
And asked her if she would mind changing the beneficiary. Can you not make, because at first she just made her mom the beneficiary, Flora.
Make somebody else,
And Flora said, please, Lula, make somebody else. So they made a trip to Memphis to sign a document that changed the beneficiary. That policy's only worth like $5,000. It was just a kind of a bridge thing.
Safety net,
a couple of months of profits or whatever. And that was to be paid to Linda. Okay. So that's what they did here. 1994, in September, they had a big family reunion. The Welches did.
Yeah.
And Lula attended the reunion. Linda was there. All of her, her sisters were there. And she had her two brothers and her sisters and everybody there. And, the whole family was there. They all saw Linda. Everybody's hanging out. That's September. Now, right after that is when she gets the word from her doctor that her cancer is in a full remission and she's cancer-free at the moment here. So to go from you're going to die, for sure,
right.
for real, you're going to die,
we got nothing for you.
Fuck, you're good right now. Is
enjoy yourself.
A miracle. Yeah. And if she in 4 years she turned this, your spirit and your will to live here has got to have something to do with that a little bit. You would like to think so anyway. Maybe that's just a person hoping we have more control over shit than we actually do.
We don't.
I don't think we have any control. She's just got a good roll of the dice, I guess, here. Well, and then a bad roll of the dice happens.
You know what I mean? It's
she's
like
nice.
karma. Yeah, she's a good person.
Yeah.
And sometimes those good things happen to good people, and you're like, good for them. That's awesome.
And I think that's another thing that people tell themselves, that we all tell ourselves. Well, I'm going to do good things, and good things will happen. And that person's a dick, and karma will catch up to him. Probably not. They'll probably be fine.
Yeah, they're probably going to be rich and happy, and just be a dick to everybody.
Yeah. I know people that have been dicks for years, and they're just fine. Decades of dickdom, and they're fine. It happens all the time. So then December 1994, December 19th is the fire.
Yeah.
Like I said, reported at 5:57 a.m., and it's a shame, like we said, because she just got told she was cancer-free, and she presumably could have had another at least 20 years ahead of her here if everything stayed good. So the daughter, her daughter, Lula's daughter, Stacy, was there. She's 20 years old at the time, or I think she was 18 at the time. She said she was surprised to see Linda at the fire that morning because it was so early.
Yeah.
She said, quote, as long as I've known Ms. Leadham, she never wanted to get out of bed before noon. And now it's pre-7 a.m. and she's out there.
Yeah, that's 7 hours early.
Acting, or 5 at least. So somebody here who had been taking care of one of the kids said when she arrived at the house, she heard Linda accusing Lula's husband of being responsible for the fire. Saying it's her ex-husband that did this. So later, Linda lit a cigarette and said, I feel so guilty. I put that propane gas tank in there, but I know he did it.
Why would she?
Okay. She's telling people she said that she bought a Christmas present, a grill, for her daughter and her daughter's husband or whatever, and was hiding it in Linda's house to hide it. So that's why it was in there, so that they didn't see it. And there's a propane tank in it, and that's where the explosion came from. That's the issue. Yeah. So the fireman who found her body, by the way, his name is Michael Casey. He had visited her several times in the 3 years they worked together, so he knew her well, and he had to find her which is tough finding
It's brutal. Yeah.
Hard enough if it's a stranger, but if it's someone you know, that's fucking brutal.
It's fucked up. Yeah.
That's terrible. So he said he found her on the floor next to the bed. He called for help. It was hard to get her because she had been they put her on a ton of steroids.
So they got her on a bunch of steroids, but
for the cancer.
Yeah, so
it was a cancer thing. So she's a lot heavier now. So she's hard to get up because she's over 200 pounds now, which she was never that big before. Yeah. This was from the steroids. They said he, with two of the other firemen, had to strap her body to a board and carry her to the backyard, but it was too late. So part of it was it took them a minute to get her out of there because he had to call for help to be able to pull her out because he couldn't do it by himself because it's dead weight.
No.
So that's hard. And he said, quote, once we got Miss Lula out, I just went off by myself for a long time. That's what the fireman said. So, he's a 30-year-old lieutenant fireman, too, and he's just hurt him that bad because everybody loved her. She's so nice. Gary, who is Linda's husband, said, it was very sad. He said, they were friends. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Okay.
Tell you what.
We got to sell on Smith & Wesson in the garage today.
Anybody want to look at a Ruger? I got a large collection here. He definitely pronounces the H's in his what's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's
and the word vehicle.
Yeah, vehicle.
It's a vehicle.
It's a vehicle right there. A lot of syllables.
Yeah.
So this guy said, quote, we've known the Young family a long, long time. And they said, are the women like sisters? And he said, I'd say closer than that. What's closer than sisters? Unless
Siamese?
They fucked each other, which they didn't. Were their heads connected?
Yeah. Co-joined, you dumb fuck.
Jesus Christ. What a dumb thing to say. Now, I can show you. I got a 40 caliber sale this week. He said, I guess he answered the phone shortly after 6 a.m. on the day of the fire and woke his wife up with the news because I guess one of the neighbors called him and said, holy shit, Lula's house is on fire. So Linda, was woken up. And the husband, Gary, said she went right over there when she heard, ran over there. Now, Eddie Riles, who is a neighbor of Lula, said that he talked to Linda as she was sobbing on his lawn while the firefighters put out the blaze here. This guy said he's the guy who heard the explosions and told everybody about it. He's the town crier of fire here. The crier of fire crier. He said that he heard 2 explosions at the house and recalled a sorrowful Linda telling him that she had stored a Christmas present for her daughter, a gas grill, in one of the bedrooms, along with a bottle of propane that was full.
Yeah.
A full bottle.
You put propane in the house.
And Eddie said, quote, nobody in their right mind would keep propane in a house.
Yeah, right. That's fucking
Generally,
crazy.
outside of the house is where the propane goes.
Yeah.
Usually.
That's a very heavy gas. It'll settle on the floor if it gets out. And you don't know it's there because you can't smell it till you fucking ignite it.
You want to keep as many gases as you can out of the house, usually.
Yeah.
Have that coming from an outside source.
There's generally pucks on the wall that will alert you when there are gases in the house.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah, you generally don't want your gas source to be on premises indoors.
Indoors, yeah.
Indoors. Outdoors,
Track.
fine. A lot of propane tanks outdoors.
Yeah, sure.
Very common. Indoors, a little less common.
It's crazy.
She said that's crazy. The fire chief, also the Horn Lake Deputy Fire Chief, Mike Moore, said, quote, I can tell you there was no charcoal grill in that house.
Charcoal grill.
Remember, she said, well, I guess it would be a gas grill, and he's just an idiot that thinks all grills are charcoal grills.
He could use some King of the
Jesus
Hill.
Christ. You're the fire chief, bro. You got to know the difference between grill fires, right? Half the fires that are started in houses are probably from grill accidents.
Does he know there's several different kinds of fire extinguishers? I'll bet he doesn't.
Nope. He just sprays the hose on it.
Put water on it, y'all. It's out of control.
I mean, it's grease, but if you put enough water, it should overwhelm the grease, I think.
It's an electrical fire, sir. It's all right.
It's all right. Enough water will overwhelm anything. Don't worry about it. It's kind of like meat. If you have meat and it's bad, if you cook it long enough, it ain't bad no more. Everything's dead.
There were fires on the Titanic. It went down. They're out, right?
See what I'm saying? Fire went out. Those are big fires, too. Those are 80-ton engines apiece. And huge coal fires.
Out. Extinguished them.
You don't see little glowing orbs in the bottom of the ocean, do you? Nope. Why? Water puts fire out. Rest my case now. Go ahead and spray that on that circuit breaker. Go ahead and spray that water on the circuit breaker. So, and then go buy a gun from Gary. For some reason, the fact that he runs a gun shop out of his garage is pretty funny. But the fact that his name is Gary and he runs a gun shop out of his garage, I don't know why that's so much funnier. And it's one of the top 3 most funny names to have a garage gun shop, I think. Gary.
Gary's Garage Guns.
I don't know why. Gary, Ricky, and who else? Who else do we have?
Terry, I guess. Terry's pretty good, too.
Terry, Gary, Ricky. Those guys have garage gun stores. So, but he's saying the firefighters didn't find a grill in the house, they're saying.
No propane grill.
No grill. They said, there was a tank, but we didn't find a grill. We just found a tank. So what's up with that? Linda's saying I had to put the grill in there, so that's weird. They also found, in addition to the propane tank, several oxygen bottles that she had from when she was sick and needed oxygen.
And those are fucking rockets.
Oh, man. So that's why there was multiple explosions, because it was they think it was the propane tank and then bang, bang, bang with fucking with the oxygen tanks. They also said upon closer inspection, it appears the propane tank's release valve was vented out and opened up a fourth of the way. So it was like open with propane leaking out, which you can smell.
Yeah.
Very strongly. So
And like natural gas smells like eggs, but propane smells like dick. Like it's so bad.
Yeah, it smells like cat
rancid.
Shit. It's rough.
Yeah, it's rancid frat boy dick.
Yeah.
It smells terrible.
So there's no way it was like put in her house the night before and she didn't notice it was open a quarter of the way. Like there'd be no possible way.
That's screaming out.
That's what I mean. There's no way. And also it would have been by 5 o'clock in the morning, the tank would have probably been empty, but the house would have been full of propane. So either way, they investigators attribute the cause of the intensity of the fire to the combination of propane and oxygen in the house. So they said small fire from the extension cord, it sets the propane off, boom, 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 and then now you got some serious fuel for the fire. Now, Linda disagrees with the death certificate here. She's got some issues with it. Linda Leadham calls the DeSoto County coroner, Jeff Pounders. That's my man, Jeff Pounders, right there. All right. That sounds like a frat boy nickname. It's my man,
his
Jeff
dick
Pounders.
Smells like
he
propane.
Pounds away, with his propane dick. There's a few sores on him, but they're almost healed up. We're gonna get him out there. It's party time for old Jeff Pounders.
You betcha.
I'm not letting Jeff Pounders look over my deceased relatives. So Leadham called him a few days after Lula's death to learn the ruling on the cause of death, and then called him a little later for a copy of the autopsy report.
I'd like to consult with you on this.
Now, she is a nurse. It might be medical interest.
Sure.
She might have an interest in those things or whatever, but it's still weird, and nobody else was calling for that.
And she's not a fucking coroner to determine cause of death nor know anything about it.
To have some medical interest. And anyway, now Lula's daughter, Stacy, said that she couldn't understand why. Number one, Linda was at the house because she doesn't live next door anymore. She came over there. She's not up that early. She also said she didn't understand why Linda, quote, pitched such a fit when there was a reference to Lula's bout with cancer on the death certificate. So Stacy said, quote, she said repeatedly that there was no reason to list the cancer that Mama had died from smoke inhalation. Now, some of the pieces of the puzzle seem to be falling into place. The only problem is that Michael and I are having to go through all of this again now. So, she's trying to stir up some shit going, why do you even put cancer as a, because I think they put it as a contributing cause, which is ridiculous because she was in remission. So that's what I mean. I don't know if Linda's arguing because she thinks she's got some medical expertise because she's a practical nurse, or I don't understand it, but that's what's going on. Now, the thing that they find, though, just 28 days before the fire, Linda had bought a $38,000, well, Lula had bought a $38,000 policy from the JMIC insurance company. It was $38,601, which would pay off a loan on Lula's pickup truck in the event of her death. Okay. So what ends up happening, Linda is the beneficiary of this. So Linda collected $8,907 of that amount, with the rest of it going to pay off the truck loan. Because it was lower than the truck loan, because they took it out at full loan cost. And whatever.
Took it out at the time of the purchase. Yeah.
So now, 4 months before the fire, Nationwide Insurance Company sold a $500,000 policy on Lula's life here to Lula. Okay. And carried an additional $200,000 accidental death benefit, all to be paid to Linda upon Lula's death.
$700,000?
$700,000.
Indeed, they are on her side.
I would say so. But Nationwide won't pay that.
Oh?
They don't pay it. They invoke a standard clause that allows insurers to withhold payment on what they deem suspicious claims filed within 2 years of an issuance of a policy. So because it was so close to the death, they have a standard thing in the clause, a standard clause that says if it happens that close to the death, we can hold it for 2 years while we investigate to make sure it's not suspicious. So that's just accusatory as fuck.
Sure is.
So Gary Leadham, Gary is Linda's husband, he collects, because he's a beneficiary on one of these, he collects $200,000, and his wife cashed a $75,000 check on 2 MetLife insurance policies as well.
That's so much life insurance on this woman.
On all these different sources.
Yeah.
So Lula's mother said that Lula took out her own insurance policy through her employment as a nursing assistant when she worked for Baptist Memorial Hospital. Yeah. She said, quote, Lula listed Linda as the first beneficiary of that policy. Linda was listed because Lula wanted to ensure that her children would have the money for their education. She listed me as the second beneficiary, meaning Flora, the mom. She did not want to do anything that could hurt me with my Social Security. That's why.
Right.
You know, if you receive too much money, that they want to cut your payments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Lula's sister said there was never any doubt in Lula's mind that Linda would do the right thing about the policy and that Linda would ensure that Lula's children received the money. But she said that they were kind of young and would probably piss it away. So kind of be a trustee, basically. Be the trustee of this account.
Yeah, oversee this and make sure it doesn't get wasted.
Yeah, kind of the arbiter of the whole thing here. Sure. So Linda does not delay in claiming the insurance proceeds. Mm-hmm. There's different companies. She's getting it from Florida, Ohio, Rhode Island. One of the MetLife offices here, the insurance checks started to roll in from MetLife first. That's the one where she got the $200,000 one. I guess she altogether it's like $975,000 in life insurance.
Good Lord.
From all these different places. Now, the cops start to say that Lula could not have obtained these policies because of her illness. Who the fuck would insure somebody with
for $1 million with cancer?
Terminal cancer for $1 million. That just doesn't make any sense.
You'd almost have to put up $1 million to get that $1 million.
No, it would be like betting on a 16-0 team against an 0-16 team in the NFL. They probably
bet so much.
You got to bet 100 to win 101. You know what I mean? Like it's just the way it is. It's kind of one of those. So she said that it's strange because also Linda. And according to these policies, Linda could not have collected on these policies if Lula had died of cancer or natural causes.
Oh, she had to be
anything
murdered,
natural.
Huh?
It had to be an accidental death, a murder, an explosion of her house.
Right.
Fell off a boat and drowned, things like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So Gary and Linda collect about $285,000 before these insurance companies start looking into this a little bit. By the way, the firemen who tried to rescue her, the three who pulled her out, brought her out in the backyard, they end up getting a big fireman award here for their attempts to rescue her. Yeah, they said the mayor said they did a courageous job in trying to save her, and they're still deeply troubled by this case. Lula Young was a popular volunteer with the ambulance crews, and her death was extremely upsetting.
Yeah, and the damage to her body probably was so extensive and severe. Like they've seen her in two different situations, and one of them they'll never forget. Seeing a woman
burned in her nightgown.
Yeah, the things that happen in a fire is fucking crazy.
Oh, it fucks your body up. Gasping for breath too.
Yeah,
she wasn't
still alive though.
Yeah, it's fucking horror. It's horrific. The pain that she's in and everything else. It's horrible. So. So shortly after this, the initial, like we said, investigation showed that the fire started because of the frayed extension cord on the space heater.
Yeah.
Now, they said, though, the investigators started thinking that the fire just spread too quick. Yeah. And there had to be some kind of accelerant. It couldn't have happened like that.
Fire doesn't move like that.
Yeah, it's a little weird. One of the guys said, we had questions because too many things seemed wrong. The fire had started too hot too quickly, and it was too hot still when our people arrived. Yeah. So normally a fire will either blaze up at first and kind of calm down a little or get hotter, but they were like, it was hot and stayed hot, which is just weird. Then they found the propane bottle, and at first they said, well, where'd this come from? And then Linda said, she was holding the grill for me there. The cause of death was carbon monoxide poisoning and smoke inhalation. So, and it was ruled an accidental death, which is what the insurance needed to pay off. So they said the weird thing and what the firefighters didn't like is that the heater, the space heater and the propane tank were found very close together inside the house, which usually things you wouldn't keep close together are
something that's going to be red hot next to a gas.
Next to a gas contained in a container like that. They said, and especially if it was on, which is strange too. And the fire chief said the valve had been turned on and left cracked. That means your gas is coming. That means your gas is coming out.
That means your gas is coming out.
That's your standard Ford Taurus right there. 4-door sedan.
When I tell you the valve was cracked, that means it's opened.
Yeah. This is the guy selling Clark the Family Truckster in Vacation. Yeah. You didn't order the metallic P?
Eugene Levy.
Yeah, exactly. He said, they put a key indicator right there that something strange was going on. They also, when they did the autopsy, they found sleeping pills in her system.
Oh?
Like more sleeping pills than she would have taken
usual?
to get to sleep. Yeah, more than you take for a normal dosage. So now they started to question, was this suicide? Did she...
Great question. Yeah.
Did she crack the fucking tank open and take a bunch of sleeping pills because maybe she got a medical news she didn't like? But that wouldn't make sense because she's been fighting this for years. When she was at her lowest saying you're dead,
right.
She fought it and got to this point. She wouldn't just give up now. So
she had a mastectomy, for Christ's sake. She cut these off. She's a fighter.
But they didn't know, though. There was no way to know. The district attorney, and he said, one has to wonder, did Lula take these herself? Or, the sleeping pills, and did she actually set the fire herself, or did someone give them to her? What happened?
Right.
So her son insisted that his mother would never commit suicide. Mike said she wasn't depressed at all. This was a lady that was looking forward to life the next day.
She's a badass, yeah.
Which it just doesn't seem like you'd beat cancer and then off yourself. No reason.
I got a feeling that's a rare... I'll bet that's happened 6 times.
It's so rare. Yeah. It's so rare.
And they were all based on somebody leaving that person, being like, I thought you were going to die of cancer. I'm leaving.
That there's rarer than a lesbian abortion, I'll tell you what. Rare. So the insurance here, they're like, they go to the Young family and the Welch family there, and they're saying how, Linda's the executor here, which is weird. A postal inspector came to talk to Lula's family and asked them questions about her insurance. He asked if Lula had a sister named Linda. Mm-hmm. And Flora, the mom, said no. And he said, "Are you sure?"
I'm her mom.
She said, quote, "I told him no. I surely know my own children. I'm not that old, Chief." So he asked then if the family knew that Lula had taken out a large amount of insurance, and they didn't, because they didn't know about all these insurance policies that Lula had out all over the place. Wow. She said, Flora said, "I don't believe in life insurance profiting from someone's death. I'd have just enough to cover my burial." So she doesn't want anybody to get any money from her. So an investigator for the DA's office suspected that the fire was murder. And after 18 months, he still couldn't prove it, as we'll talk about here.
Really?
So he, I guess, turned over his files to a postal inspector when he got another job. And that postal inspector merged the state's case with the federal information because the feds are involved, because if it's any kind of insurance fraud, it is done in different states. So now it's a federal affair.
Yeah.
So that's what they're thinking about.
Mail
so they're
fraud, right?
They're looking for mail fraud type of things, but they don't have. They said Lula seemed to take them out on herself. It just doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Then they get a break.
Okay.
Brenda Driver. She's a nationwide insurance agent who is absolutely not on Linda's side here.
No.
We'll just say. No. She had sold the $500,000 policy to Lula.
Yeah.
Then she heard talk at a gas station, because it's a small town.
Wow.
So she found out about the fire while people were chit-chatting around the pump here.
At the come and go.
At the come and go, just getting some night crawlers and filling up. She's talking to her about this
couple
shit.
night crawlers and a PB&J.
That's right. Oh, that's good stuff right there. And she heard talk about a house fire that killed a woman named Lula Young, who lived in the DeSoto Village subdivision. She recognized the name immediately here.
Yeah.
She said, "But the woman whom I sold the policy to lives in another part of town. That wasn't her address."
Uh-oh.
Then, this is fucking crazy. The same Brenda Driver. This is how small this town is, apparently, at the time, back then, because I think there was less than 10,000 people here at the time. Okay. She's at Walmart.
Yeah.
Okay. Brenda, the nationwide insurance agent, is at Walmart. And she said she looked up and saw what she described as a, quote, dead woman walking.
That's her.
She saw a customer who she heard died in a house fire.
Yeah.
The customer was fucking Linda.
Oh, my God.
It was Linda.
Taking out her own policies on herself, in
as
quoties.
Lula.
As Lula.
Yes.
What the fuck, Linda?
Because Lula couldn't have gotten these policies because they would have known about her surgeries for her mastectomy, so they would have known she had cancer. It would have been a totally different thing. They said, "Holy shit, what the fuck?" So she was real confused.
Yeah,
probably
pretty mad that she's been taken.
Yeah, well, I mean, shit's nationwide insurance. It's not out of her pocket. But
also, they've been taken a lot.
This happens.
Somebody's taken them before.
When you're giving out money for murder, you're going to get people that are going to fucking try to take advantage of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you're giving out money for deaths, people are going to make that as best they can, make that death look accidental.
Been happening for a long time now. So they, at that point, she went to her office and said, "Holy shit, the woman who I just sold this to, who's dead, I just saw in Walmart. This is fucked up."
She's kicking ass, yeah.
And so they went, "Well, I guess she's not dead then," and scratched that off and said that the one guy, a nationwide agent, said, "We just saved the company $700,000."
Great work. I'm glad you needed an Instapot.
Oh, my God. Yeah, thank fuck for that. Glad that you like to peruse. That's great. You don't just go in and get what you need and go out. Yeah. I like that.
You stick around a while.
You were looking at those Lindt chocolate things. You really wanted some fancy chocolates tonight, and you picked right.
You're getting the fucking impulse buys, and we like that about you.
Good job. So the detectives determined that Linda must have bought the policies behind Lula's back, paid the monthly premiums on them, and then just stood by and wait for the benefit from her death. She had. They don't know. That's what it had to be. Now the thing is, they also don't know if Lula was in on this, right? Because they're like, was Lula in on this? Not with the murder, but with the insurance, because that would pay out more. And if she sent Linda in her place, she could get a bigger policy to help her kids later.
Great point. Yeah.
So they were like, did she send Linda in her place because she doesn't have any of the physical maladies that she has?
She can take blood tests and nothing shows up.
Exactly. Is there that or what? So that's what they were wondering about here. But either way, she didn't do it so she would be murdered in her house. That was.
Yeah, right.
That was a little extra stank on it. I don't think she had. This was in case the cancer came back, I feel like she was doing, because the extra $200,000 was accidental death benefit. Okay. So, at that point, a retired federal investigator who specialized in handwriting identification and forgery detection determined that Linda forged Lula's signature on the policies.
Really?
He said it was obvious that these were fraudulent policies. Mm-hmm. So they go talk to Linda, and Linda said, "Look, I'm her best friend." They asked her about the fire. They said, "Where were you that night?"
Right.
And she said, "I was at home with my family, which is 10 minutes away."
Okay.
Yeah, I was 10 minutes away because she moved away out of the neighborhood. And she said, God, I don't know. I wasn't here. So she has a solid alibi anyway. But then so we know she wasn't physically there. Then she was questioned. She said that Lula was in on the insurance policy scam. They asked her about that, and first she denied it, and then they went, "Look, this lady saw you in Walmart, and it's you." Right. And she said, okay, Linda knew about it. This was part of a scam to get her kids more money, and she didn't think anybody would find out. And they said, quote, "Linda says that Lula had asked her to do this and asked her to take the medical exams because she'd had cancer, and she knew she couldn't complete those exams and obtain those policies for that value. Right. The intention was to defraud the insurance company about the cancer and for Linda to take care of Lula's kids with that money." That's what Linda said.
The intention was to commit insurance fraud.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was trying to help my cancer-ridden friend commit insurance fraud. That's all. I was just down for my friend. Yeah. Which is a crime, but not. No one goes, "You fucking scumbag."
Right. You fucking.
It's not killing your
so
friend.
many people are hurt because of you.
Jesus.
I mean, insurance in the first place is a fucking Ponzi scheme.
Oh, the whole thing is.
It's robbing Peter to pay Paul the whole time.
You're trying to scam them. They're trying to scam you. It's all
We're all trying
relative.
to scam each other.
It's all relative. There's money involved.
Yeah,
it's not
of
like
course.
this isn't out of the goodness of our heart transactions that we're doing back and forth.
There's zero insurance that is just fucking sainthood.
Stop paying your premiums and see how
fast they cover anything.
See how fast they're on someone else's side after that.
See if you're in good hands then.
Yeah, you're not going to be such a good neighbor then. So that's what they said, that the insurance companies required these exams. And Linda said, she said, you take the exams in my place. We're close in the same age. We're only 7 years apart. It looks like we could pass for the same age. Sure. And they said with all of this, she took out all these insurance forms, and that's what it was. She said she passed her medical exams with flying colors, signed the applications, Lula Young. And that's that. Linda made her daughter, Jennifer, the second beneficiary, just in case Linda died before Lula. That way it would go to her and she could take care of it. So
that is wild. She could just do this with just words.
But then she was told that she's in remission now.
Uh-huh.
And now this was with Linda. They thought she was going to die in the next year. And then they told her, oh, no, you're good, actually.
We're all right.
And so, and then there's a propane tank next to a space heater a couple of weeks later. That's not good.
Yeah.
So January 1997, a friend of Lula and Linda's comes forward. Okay. And they said, quote, he confided that Linda had actually approached him on 2 different occasions, asking him to basically kill Lula as a mercy killing. She had cancer and she was dying. So would you, I just want to put her out of her misery. I can't watch her wither away.
Whoa.
They go on to say he was friends with several police officers, so she asked him about how to burn a house down without getting caught. Not good.
Cops.
I love that too. I'm going to ask, who should I ask for advice about this murder? How about I ask a guy who's friends with a bunch of cops? He won't tell on me. That'll never come up in their fucking...
I mean, I guess I assume the closest friends of cops, they're friends with them because they do bad shit.
Yeah, that's probably why. But they're going to tell the cop it's not their bad shit. They're going to tell the cop, hey, this lady wants me to kill this other lady. That's pretty fucked up, right?
This dipshit asked me how to start a fire.
Wow. Didn't that lady die in a fire? Uh-oh.
She did, yeah.
So the cops who he's friends with asked him to wear a wire and get a confession out of Linda. Get her to say it again. But it didn't work. Couldn't get her to do it. So 2 weeks later, another informant approaches the police. Yeah. There's people coming out of the woodwork for this shit. This is a guy named David Vincent, and he was in jail at the time, currently a resident of a guest of the county. He was trying to get a deal on, I believe, his drug charges, if I'm not mistaken, by giving the police some information.
Yeah.
I'll tell you anything. I learned some shit since I've been in there. He revealed some information he'd learned from a fellow inmate who's a landscaper on the outside, a landscaper / crack addict on the outside, named Charles Wayne Dunn, who sounds like a guy who you'd go to if you need something
bad
dumb
guy.
done.
Yeah.
Charles Wayne. Middle name of Wayne. Done right there. You're out. You're out. You and John Wayne Gacy, same thing. So they said they've been working together here. That's what this guy said.
Yeah.
A guy, Charles Wayne Dunn, confided in me one day that he had something he regretted. He told him there's something I regret. And he said Charles Wayne Dunn told David Vincent that he had killed Lula Young and that Linda Leadham had paid him to do it.
Really?
Yes. So Vincent said that Dunn also had information that police never made public. He said that Charles Wayne Dunn told David Vincent that he had to make it look like an accident because if she died from cancer, the policies may not pay as much.
What the fuck, man?
No way this man would know this unless this was true. That's what that
unless
says.
he was told that, yeah.
Who the fuck knows what policies people have and all that kind of shit. He said, quote, when he was telling the story, what was running through my head was, we got her. I mean, this was the break we'd been looking for on Linda. That's the cop talking. So police put a wire on Vincent now.
Okay.
Send him into jail in a second sting operation to try to get a confession from Dunn. But that doesn't work either because none of these people are skilled like investigators. They're just morons.
They just go in like and put their chest up to somebody's face and start asking real incriminating questions.
You grab them around the head and you pull them close to your chest. You know what I mean? Like you're really getting
Smell
close to
my
them.
new cologne.
You go.
It's Curve.
Tell me about that murder plot again, big guy. And then you tussle his hair. That's how it works. That's how you do in jail. You know what I mean? So the police said, why are we doing this? Let's just go talk to Dunn. He's probably a fucking idiot, and he's in jail on crack charges. He'll probably want to get off on those. So
he'd probably love to just say some shit.
Yep. He's also, in addition to his, I guess that would be considered a vocation, being a crack addict. In addition to that, he's also a handyman who sometimes works for Linda, and that's how they know each other.
Oh, she said, hey,
you're dumb and fucking poor.
Thanks
you want
for
help?
Fixing that drywall. Now, you a murderer by chance?
How are you at setting fires to cancer-ridden women's houses? Are you good at that or no? This guy's only 28, too. He's a younger guy.
Nice mud work. Are you a murderer?
Man. How are you at being a death merchant? Any good?
You patch tongue and groove real nice.
Real nice. How's your death merchant work? Okay.
How do you deliver murder? Are you any good at it?
You got like a mercenary price list or no? So he said that Dunn did odd jobs for Linda when he was, and at the time was dating Linda's daughter.
Get out of here.
So he was a crackhead dating Linda's daughter, who was like 20, maybe 18, 19 at the time. So a 10 years older crackhead who is a crackhead and does landscaping work for you. That's who you're letting date your daughter. And then, well, I guess she was an adult at the time. Yeah. But he also, Dunn, because of he was close to the family, he had known Lula and spent time with her.
Wow.
He knew her. He'd been to her house. He knew her. I mean, that's fucked up. He wasn't even just a stranger.
He's willing to, be a part of
and
this.
He said his drug habit was just getting out of control and he needed money. And
there's only so many recessed lights you can put in somebody's house.
That's all you can do. I mean, shit. That doesn't buy.
Sometimes you got to murder people for them.
Doesn't buy enough crack. It really doesn't. So they said that by the way, that Vincent guy had been in for burglary, not drugs. Okay. Charles Wayne Dunn was in for drugs. So they said, hey, look, we got a jailhouse possession here. Dunn had previous cocaine possession charges and all that kind of shit. He's just a general scumbag.
General idiot, yep.
The guy you want dating your 18-year-old daughter,
For sure, yeah.
That kind of thing. At the time of the investigation, he was on probation and meeting regularly with his probation officer. So investigators devised a plan to try to get the informant and Dunn in a room together.
Hell yeah.
Do they think he's such a master criminal that he won't crack?
I feel like all you got to do is be like, we'll give you a cigarette if you tell us.
Yeah. A dude told us that you told him this, and he'll go, oh, shit, I told somebody that. And he'll be like,
slide a pack of fucking Cools or American Spirits across the table. He's going to tell you everything.
An extra value meal will buy this guy's fucking loyalty, I have a feeling.
Right, yeah.
I think so. You give this guy a half-decent meal if he's been in county for a while. Get him some Popeyes.
Size, pal.
Yeah. Get him some fucking Bojangles. He's going to shit his pants.
That one comes with okra, my friend.
Oh, baby, those biscuits. So he wants some churches. So they definitely want to talk to him. That's their plan, though. Yeah. Okay. It's because he had confessed while he was in jail here, and they were like, maybe we could get him in here and have his crackhead self do that. So the DA said, we had the office wired.
Yeah.
They wired up the office. This is their third wiring of this idiot. He said Dunn was hesitant at first, but then what he said told us that he was guilty. What he said was, yes, I did what you fucking think I did.
Then he confessed, which,
Yeah, he said so. He said, quote, I had Dunn's probation officer call him into the local probation office for a meeting and a drug test. So, and the informant would be there also. Once the probation officer was out of the room and him and the informant were there together, the informant asked Wayne Dunn about the fire, and Dunn didn't deny it at all.
Yeah.
He basically said, well, you can't shake your past. You've done what you've done, and you can't wash it away. Other statements he made were, saying that he probably killed her, but it wasn't enough to make an arrest. It was like alluding to shit like, well, yep, things get hot on the inside when you're killing a cancer lady, but not I went there and killed her. Just like not enough to really nail her.
More than one way to roast a duck, know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they were like, damn it, what do we do? So they said, let's just bring him in. This is ridiculous.
Let's just ask him questions.
Let's just ask him.
Yeah.
So they said, quote, I told him I knew that he'd been on drugs and that he felt bad about killing somebody. He initially denied the situation. But then the investigator brought up the heater and the propane tank next to each other. He told Dunn that they believed the fire had been set intentionally and that this was arson and murder. So he said, all right, let me tell you everything that happened.
Yeah.
Apparently, Linda had met Charles shortly after Charles moved in with her daughter and son-in-law there somehow. So he was dating the daughter, but also the daughter was married. I don't know what's going on here, but we're not here to parse the love life.
Yeah.
She has one daughter. I guess now she might have two. She has two daughters. You're right, because one and one is Lula. Duh. Okay. She has two daughters. Okay. That makes way more sense. I was like, this is fucking weird. That was in December of 93 that she had met, and within a year, he's killing people for her, which is, she's got to be awfully convincing.
That's very, that's
Dunn says that Linda approached him with the idea to kill Lula, explaining that Lula was her best friend and that she was dying of cancer. Linda said that Lula asked Linda to kill her, but she didn't have the heart to do it, so she offered Dunn $5,000 to do it for her. She presented it as a total mercy killing.
Yeah.
And but then the prosecutor says, quote, he confided that Linda had actually approached him on 2 different occasions, asking him to basically kill Lula as a mercy killing. She had cancer. She was dying. He was friends with several police officers, so she asked him about how to burn a house down without getting caught. That's the first guy who came forward.
It's the most fucked up mercy killing of all time.
That's fucked up. But then Dunn said he'd given Lula medicine to make her fall asleep so that she wouldn't suffer during the fire. He forced her to take sleeping pills first.
Wow.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
So on the night before the fire, Charles Wayne Dunn parked his car in Lula's driveway and entered the house. He's not real slick.
No.
He's going over to murder her, and he parks in the driveway.
Yeah. He pulls right up in.
This guy's a fucking dummy. I mean, he's a dummy. He's a crackhead.
Turn on the lights, man. Make some phone calls.
Yeah, make yourself a sandwich while you're at it. Why don't you get fingerprints on as many things as possible?
Jerk off in the sink or something.
Oh, do that. You want to leave good DNA behind. Just whole swimmers. There.
Just jerk off into a wad of paper towels and toss that in the trash.
Make sure to put the plug in the sink there, and that way you don't want to lose any of it down the drain.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
Escape reality and immerse yourself in a gripping tale of mystery, murder, and romance with June's Journey. Join June as she unravels the truth behind her sister's mysterious death and use your observation skills to find hidden clues and uncover dark secrets. Plus, you get to explore stunning hidden object scenes, from New York parlors to Parisian sidewalks, as each chapter reveals captivating mysteries. How sharp are your observation skills? Put them to the test in June's Journey. Download for free today on iOS and Android.
So he had parked in there. He entered the house. He retrieved the heater from his truck and crushed up some newspaper nearby next to the heater.
Yeah.
Kindling, exactly. Yeah. Then opened the valve on the propane tank, turned on the heater, and left the house. Heater plus this plus that equals boom.
Does he think all that's going to burn up? Like, what a dumb fucking plan.
It is, but it worked. That's the thing.
Sure did. Yeah.
It worked.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
I mean, for his purposes anyway.
Yeah.
He said to them that he waited on her to go to sleep before he set the fire. He told it in a way that you got the feeling he was telling the truth. That's what the prosecutor said. The next day, he went to Linda's home and collected $1,000 from her with the balance, the next $4,000 to be paid out in smaller amounts over time. A couple $100 here and there.
$5,000 on layaway?
Layaway. That's how
but do it now?
That's why you hire a crackhead to kill somebody. The problem is that a crackhead will always get in trouble for being a crackhead, and they're going to tell on you.
He'll do crackhead work.
He's good that you pay crackhead prices, you get crackhead work. I think that's the slogan.
I mean, murder, you get what you pay for sure.
No shit. So he said, I did that on her orders, started the house. He surprises them with something else. He said, that's not the only fire I set on Linda's orders, by the way.
What?
They said, huh? He said, yeah, I started her daughter's house on fire. With her daughters wanted this to happen as an insurance scheme.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah, they said that house belonged to Ms. Leadham's daughter. That was 2 years after the initial fire in Ms. Lula's house. So it's 2 years later. They figured we got away with one, we get away with the other. They just evidently decided the best thing to do was set it on fire and then get the insurance money for that also.
Okay.
That's just her thing. So it's $5,000. That was it. At first, the fire wasn't the first thing she suggested to Mr. Dunn here. At first, he said that she suggested, why don't we take Lula to a lake and you can push her into the water? Yeah, which seems horrible. That's even worse.
Yeah. The two worst things.
Yeah.
Drowning and fire.
Terrible.
Why? You guys are
Jesus.
dicks.
What the fuck, man?
Actual dicks.
Yeah, and he said that, but he said he couldn't do that. He's like, I can't physically do that. And they said, okay. Later, she decided on arson and purchased a propane gas tank that she stashed in the house in there. So the officials learned that she said, will you hide this in your house because it's a gift for my husband? And Lula said, okay. And then he came in with the heater. They learned that Linda was, had done this before. By the way, the fire at the daughter's house, that was a $500 fee.
$500 because there's no bodies in there. Yeah,
no bodies. Yeah, no murder. It's just everybody was gone. So, wow, I can't believe that. He said that after she went to bed, Lula, that night, he put the propane tank in a room, opened the valve, space heater nearby, and also tampered with the heater cord. He said he fucked with the heater cord as well.
Opened it up, yeah.
Frayed it up a bit. He said he did that in order to make it look more like an accident. They said the wire would cut, so it would appear that it would be a short in the wire that caused the fire. That's what he did. So, I mean, he was trying to think ahead. It almost worked. They said that Dunn said that he got some money. Linda had given him the money to purchase the heater, and that was part of the plan. She had brought the propane tank. He bought the heater. This is fucked. So apparently he was convinced. Linda told him, look, this will start. The propane tank will blow up, and it'll blow her up, and she'll die instantly, so she won't suffer. Yeah. Because she's my best friend. I don't want her to suffer, and I know you don't want her to suffer because you feel bad. So let's just explode her.
Two most painful ways to die, but please try this.
It's not like they put the propane tank on the bed with her, so upper ass. And, I was trying to get anything but upper ass is what I was going for. And you're like, upper ass is the right way. So they said that nothing went according to plan. She suffered a slow, painful death by fire, is what they said. Just an absolute horrible, awful death. Monster. They said that awful. So they said that the prosecutors were exploring a plea bargain for Dunn, under which he would testify that he was hired by Linda because she's the mastermind here. So they put a wire now on Dunn. Enough with the wire. None of these wires have worked, by the way. None of them have worked. They want
to look real important, real bad.
Yeah, they're like, you're wearing a wire. Yeah, they just like, man, that's how they got John Gotti. That's how we're going to get her. Like, it's... Guys,
that's how you get all the best criminals.
Oh, man. So in the audio, she told him that she was giving him money so that he could disappear, but that's about all they got out of it. That's it. So
why am I going to disappear? Because of that shit you did. What did I do?
What'd you do?
You got to disappear.
So take this money anyway, and you go here. One
Say
of those
what
things.
I did. You tell him what I did.
Fuck. So during this investigation, the police searched Linda's, and in a search of her home, They find, this is 1997, March of 97. They find 2 life insurance policies on Lula's life in the amounts of $75,000 and $500,000, designating Linda as the primary beneficiary, along with a third policy designating Gary, Linda's husband, as the beneficiary in the amount of $200,000, which paid off, as we know. That's the MetLife one. A partnership agreement was also discovered between Linda and Lula, with power of attorney granted to Linda from Lula. Now, they said that investigation of the fire, they said the insurance question sort of fell in our laps and pushed this investigation along, because they were on the fence whether it was suicide, accident, on purpose, but this says, well, now it was probably on purpose. So
well, if there's money involved, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the cop said, quote, the insurance question sort of fell in our laps. That was an unexpected bonus, a weird way to put it. Yeah. We tried to get the insurance companies to work with us, but they were making inquiries on their own. They're like, yeah, we don't care about murder. We're trying to get money back. Fuck you people. Right. That's how shitty insurance companies are. They're working a murder case. There's a murderer free. And they're like, listen, no, we got to recover our fucking $200,000. Wow. She had bought 4 policies, they said. $75,000 through MetLife, acquired May 21st, 1992. That's the original one. Yeah. $200,000 through MetLife on November 15th, 1992. $500,000 through Nationwide, August 22nd, 1994. And then November 21st, 94, less than a month before the fire, was a $38,000. That was the truck one there. So only the MetLife ones said they've been paid, that they paid out. They're the only ones that paid out. So they said the investigation was underway before they learned of the insurance policies, and they said, yeah, this is great here. So the insurance purchased on Lula's life, they said, according to the federal indictment that's going to be handed down here, they say that Linda posed as her friend for physical examinations and all this kind of shit. They said that insurance agents testified about Linda making inquiries in 1992 about making a claim on her sister's insurance, which she said was Lula Young. She listed herself as the owner of the $75,000 policy and her address as Lula's address. One insurance agent even said that he saw a family tree displayed openly at Linda's home depicting Lula as her sister. She had artwork made.
Yeah.
She did crafts for this shit. Wow. You don't expect crafty insurance fraudsters, right? It's
like one of those velvet paintings.
I think it was, with like a head with like branches coming off of it. So another agent testified Linda made a request for an additional $200,000 policy when he went to Linda's home to issue the policy. Linda introduced herself as Lula Young. Wow, that is fucking amazing. On this policy, Gary, who is Linda's husband, was listed as Young's brother-in-law and listed Linda as her sister. Holy shit. So
Gary of Gary's Garage Gat sitting right there, lying his balls off.
Lying everything, just collecting money for not having to do shit. He's like, what are you up to? I get money? Sure. I can replenish the stock in my fucking my shop here.
We'll buy more American Eagle.
Oh, my God. So the district attorney here said he ran into some problems, though, because they wanted the federal government to do a parallel federal investigation for wire fraud to put pressure on her, basically. So they had problems with some of the admissibility of the evidence in the murder case. That's the problem, which was illegally seized beyond the scope of his state of search warrant. So they went into drawers and shit when they just had a look around, or they went into something when they couldn't look into documents.
Overreach. You fucking idiots.
Search warrants are so fucking specific, and you have to follow them or else you end up with this shit. So also the undercover tape recordings of him also looked inadmissible as well. So they weren't good either. So they asked, would you prosecute her on federal fraud charges while we sort through this murder shit? That way it'll keep her at least locked up and all that kind of thing. So, that's how it works. And they said that this is from a book here, the approved way to keep our case clean was to erect what is called a Chinese wall. Let's erect a Chinese wall, Jimmy. What do you say?
What is that?
It's after the famed Great Wall built to keep out barbarian invaders. Mm-hmm. The way a legal Chinese wall works is that taint teams. Taint teams? Are you kidding me?
This feels racist.
Holy
too.
shit. They come in and just tickle it on up, boy.
Yeah.
Act as cutout men who examine possibly tainted materials before giving only the admissible items to the trial prosecutors. In this case, they assigned a separate prosecutor to handle the case and received all the evidence, and that's how they screened out the evidence that they don't think is good evidence, basically. So then they find out, holy shit, when we're looking through her stuff, there are more murder plots afoot here.
She wants other people dead?
There was life insurance policies on a man named Robert Stovall, who isn't related to Linda, but he is apparently a ward of Linda's mother, listed as his like caregiver, even though he's an adult, but he's like mentally challenged.
Yeah.
So they have policies.
She's getting SSI for him or whatever.
No, she's getting life insurance on him.
No, I mean her mom is getting SSI stuff because he's a ward.
Yeah.
And she's just assisting him, helping him get through day to day. And
So
she's
they
got
found-
life insurance on this man.
They found a policy from Kansas City Life Insurance Company dated November 13th, 1995, on the life of Robert Stovall in the amount of $250,000 with Linda named as second beneficiary. An insurance policy on the life of Robert Stovall in the amount of $200,000 where Linda is the primary and her husband is the secondary beneficiary.
$450,000.
An application for life insurance on the life of Stovall in the amount of $200,000, along with an accidental death rider for even more.
Oh my God!
Yes, Melanie Wright's signature, one of the daughters, appears as the owner and beneficiary. So she's got her kids involved in this now. An identification card with a picture of Charles Wayne Dunn appearing over the name of Robert Stovall, along with Linda's address.
Oh my God!
Linda's address, Dunn's name, Robert's picture.
Uh-oh.
How
He's
fucked up
about
is
to
that?
die.
That way, Dunn can get policies in his name for Linda because she
All
has
day.
the ID. All fucking day. Wow. 2 wills also purported to be those of Lula Young, they found. One dated October 7th, 1994. The other not dated. An insurance identity card in the name of Robert Stovall, an invoice reflecting the sale of a 1995 Nissan to Melanie Wright and Stovall, and an installment an installment sales contract bearing the date of August 4th, 1995, with these names appearing as purchasers, an application for credit life insurance and disability insurance for Melanie Wright and Stovall, the beneficiary, dated August 4th, 95. 3 typewriters, different typewriters of different that can type different because this is before Arial standard fucking
before
type
fonts
font
could change.
Yep, and 3 checkbooks from total accounts from MetLife Insurance Company indicating Linda as the owner of 2 policies and her husband as the other of Robert Stovall's shit. So finding the name is creepy. The driver's license with another picture and a different address.
Yeah.
That is fucked up. They said, we found out she was trying to make arrangements to do him in just like Ms. Young for insurance purposes. She had already talked to somebody to actually take care of Robert as far as taking him out. She was looking for other hitmen.
Yep.
Looking for other hitmen. That is fucking ridiculous. So, wow. And she was listing her daughter as beneficiary, her as some, to keep it all off of her. One agent said that Robert Stovall was listed on the application as her son-in-law in other ones, too. So she had all these different policies and was telling everybody different shit, which is fucking...
What a web.
Dunn will later on testify that after Lula's death, Linda approached him with a request that, hey, why don't you kill this guy now, too?
Yeah.
She didn't give him a reason she wanted him killed, but offered him $10,000 to commit the murder. And he said, fuck yeah, that's a shitload of crack.
That's
so
twice
much crack.
as much as both the other things I did.
That's like 2 full days worth. I'm going to be great. Yeah. So that's when he got a fraudulent identification card with his name and the photograph and all that. With money given to him by Linda, he purchased a 1979 Toyota Celica to be used in a car wreck with Stovall, and testified that Linda took him to Stovall's hometown to commit the murder.
He's going to run into him with a fucking car? They are diabolical, man.
He's going to drive with him in the car and get into an accident. That's the plan.
In the passenger seat? Like,
yeah.
Oh, my God.
So they had, like, that Vermont lady with her husband, that deal. Like, at the last second, you know you're going to crash. You unclick his seatbelt, and you fucking plow into a brick wall, and you fly through it. He flies through it. I think that's
This is fucked, man. They are vicious people.
This is horrible. Yeah, these are some of the more vicious people we've heard about. Even though they're not, like, dismembering anybody, it's still horrible. December 1996, Linda is charged with federal mail fraud. So that's what they do. 10 counts of mail fraud, as a matter of fact. They said they got a major lead. And then the murder people said, we got a major lead following the indictment. Just because they wanted it all to line up. They said the scheme, talked about the whole scheme. Credit life payments were made based on a claim filed by Linda and other people here. And they said one of the charges is a check made out for $8,907 that was paid to her estate, which she was the executor and all that. The truck one. Yep. That's the initial one. Now, the MetLife who paid out $200,000.
Yeah.
They said that there was nothing to suspect when the company paid off the policies in 95. He said that Lula's death certificate said that she died accidentally in a house fire of carbon monoxide poisoning resulting from smoke inhalation. Since being notified of the fraud charges, though, he said, we are pursuing recovery efforts. This is part of a trend. Yeah. We're seeing more and more instances of murder for death benefits and fake disappearances. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars at stake. That's why.
More and more of it, huh? As the population grows and more people become more greedy?
And more people become just kind of hip to what you can do. Like, oh, shit, you can get away with that? Reading a fucking story on the internet or in the paper back then. So Lula's daughter said, we never knew she was under investigation about Mama's death, meaning Linda. They didn't tell us. Mm-hmm. She said she had told us she was going to court because of the insurance companies have failed to pay off. So she made it seem like she was going to court.
Fighting for her share.
Fighting, like taking them to court, not she's under federal indictment.
I'm going to court about insurance stuff. They won't pay.
They won't pay. So they said, well, did you get any money from your mother's anything? Yeah. And she said, well, me and my brother Michael split about $500 from the old policy at the Baptist Hospital. We didn't know about the federal charges until I talked to my father in Texas when the story first came out. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do was tell Michael what was going on.
They got $500 for their mother's death. And this lady's got
hundreds of thousands
of dollars. That's unbelievable. Insane. What a scumbag.
That is wild. Lula's sister said she was stunned in October. The news hit that Linda was under investigation because of these life insurance policies. She said, I had gone beyond shock. I had not heard that she was under investigation on the murder charge until the indictments were returned, but I can't say it surprised me by that point.
Yeah.
The mail fraud charges here, conviction on all counts could result in a maximum of a $2.5 million fine and 50 years in prison.
Don't do that.
Which is more than fucking, like, second degree murder,
child abuse. Yeah.
Oh, by far. 50 years? Holy sh! Don't fuck with those.
50 fucking years.
That's what happens when you are an insurance company and 20% of your budget is in lobbying. That's what you get. You get hardcore penalties for fucking you over.
They also know when the penalties are that stiff for fucking them over, they know how hard they're fucking you over. And they know that somebody's going to be fed up with this shit soon.
Someone's going to try it, even under that kind of penalty. Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's playing chicken. So the murder investigation, the Flora, the mom here, Lula's mom, said she first learned there was an investigation into her daughter's death when a postal inspector visited her, like we said before. She said, I never knew there were 4 policies or the amounts of these policies until I read about them in the commercial appeal, in the newspaper. The fucking investigators didn't even tell her. Wow. She said, I don't know how anyone could be so cold. Maybe when people start getting ahead, they just want more and more. Maybe. Or she's just a greedy twat.
Yeah, she's just an asshole.
After the indictments, I don't know that I could see Linda again, is what she said. So now the cops said, we knew as early as January of 95 that Linda was responsible for the death, but we didn't know who the torch was. That's what the guy says.
The torch.
The torch. We were looking for the flamer, just so you know. We didn't know who the torch was.
Yeah,
I had to say it like that because it's
you,
just so douchey. That's District Attorney Champion of DeSoto County. Just
DA,
so you know.
DA Champion. The guy's a crackhead, and you couldn't find him. So
we didn't know who the torch was. Yeah, until he literally came to you, you fucking morons. You couldn't even use a wire correctly.
The
you guys
torch.
Jesus Christ. Who's the flamer here?
Yeah.
So, fuck. Linda's attorney is a good attorney, actually. He's a former U.S. attorney named Bob Whitwell, and he now does criminal defense here. He, I guess, originally only handled civil litigation, and he said in this book they say he swore when he left the U.S. attorney's office he'd never handle a criminal case, but he was. He said his friend said that Bob, the attorney, was a very religious and kind-hearted man. And when Linda came to him with a sob story about how the DA, John Champion, was persecuting her while she was still in mourning the death of her best friend, this guy thought that was beyond the pale of egregious and agreed to take the case for nothing. Pro bono.
Oh, my God. I'm going to stick
the way they're
it
doing
right up
you is
Champion's
wrong.
ass.
Yeah, they're doing you wrong.
Stick it in and break it off, sister.
Oh, man. So there he is. They said that he challenged the admissibility of the evidence, and when that failed, he asked for and received a federal mental exam for Linda, but they said she's just regular fucked up. She's got some mental problems, but nothing that would cause her to, have hallucinations or anything that would be...
a normal dickhead.
She's not a legally crazy person. She's just a bit of a dickhead. Yeah, a bit of an asshole. So Lula's daughter... here said that she had maintained contact with
Linda, with
Lula's mother here, or Linda had maintained contact with Lula's mother, Flora.
Really?
Yeah, she said, this is the sister. Lula's sister said this. She said she had called Mama from time to time just to check to see how she was doing from the day of the funeral until last fall. And she said, how could any woman look you in the eye if she had taken your child and killed her?
Well, because she's a piece of shit.
She's a cold-blooded motherfucker. Yeah. That's why. That's rough. Lula said Lula's mom here said she was good to Lula, or so we thought. I met Linda a number of times, but I guess I'm just not a very good judge of folks. I took Lula's word. That's so sad.
Or you've just got a good heart and you're a normal lady.
And she snowed everybody.
Yeah, I mean, she snowed her fucking lawyer, who should know better.
Yeah, the lawyer who's a fucking U.S. attorney. He
shouldn't trust a soul.
No, she snowed all these insurance people that she was a different person. This lady's a fucking liar. Period. A professional liar. So, man, she said that she recalled that Linda was one of the mourners there at the funeral, and she said, at the wake, Linda told me, my feelings are hurt. You didn't put me down as a sister in the death notice. That's what she was worried about. Mm-hmm. Wow. So March 1997, everybody gets arrested here.
Yeah.
Round them up. Yeah. That includes Linda. Charles is already arrested, but now we're going to have Gary be arrested as well.
Oh, yeah. Close your shop down, Gare Bear.
Come on down, Gary. Yeah. Is he also on federal gun charges as well? Is this just the mail fraud?
Are you allowed to just sell guns out of your garage? Because it shouldn't be able to.
And it just says Gary's Gun Show out there, and it's a show.
I don't like this.
I think you have to be licensed and have a certain...
You should have to have some sort of tax stamp of something.
Also, a garage is not a secure enough place to keep armaments. Gun shops are secure, right? They're very secure.
They
have
generally have
on the windows
or those accordion things that come out. You know what I mean?
Because there's stealable, fucking usable
weapons of
it's crazy.
Destruction.
Holy shit! So anyway, they not only indict Linda and Gary, they also Jennifer, 26-year-old daughter. Come on down.
What'd that bitch do?
She let them burn her house down for insurance money.
Yeah.
Also, 24-year-old Melanie, come on down. Listing yourself on the Stovall affair. It's wire fraud.
Uh-oh.
The entire nuclear family is in the pokey together. Mom, dad, and kids, you rarely see them all arrested in any case. How many cases have we done where an entire nuclear family goes to jail?
They ought to have Steve Harvey ask them questions while they're in there.
If they have another jailed family? Yeah. It's the prison family feud.
From across the cells.
Here they come.
Yeah, Steve's wearing his big square suits.
And they're all dragging heavy iron balls behind them that are attached to their ankles. Well, that's the difference. Hold on, Steve. Almost there. Wait a second. Wow. The three, Gary, Jennifer, and Melanie, are freed on bond, like $50,000 bond, where Linda is held without bond because she's in on capital murder. That's a little different.
She's in trouble. Yeah.
She's in deep shit. Gary was indicted on a charge of obtaining money under false pretenses. The two daughters were indicted on identical charges of conspiracy to commit arson, and conspiracy to commit false pretense, which I didn't know was a crime. Gary and the two daughters were being held under $50,000, and they got released. Charges against them stem from the fire at Jennifer's home, obviously. So this is a fucking disaster, clearly. Then she's indicted for murder, as we say. And they said this is the prosecutor, Linda Leadham has gone from this person that everybody knew and liked to basically a criminal mastermind.
Yeah.
I would say. So she's pretty fucked. Now, the only thing is, in her federal mail fraud trial, the government agreed to not make cross-references to murder or other frauds, related or unrelated. Only the charges they've charged.
Just focusing on the mail stuff.
So don't focus in on the fact that she used that mail fraud to murder a woman and try to get money off of it. Just that she posed as someone else to get money. So they said it's not to be considered as relevant offense conduct in this case. So she's fucked. I mean, she got paid out more than $300,000. There's paperwork and checks and deposits. I mean, there's no way to say I don't know what you're talking about here. Yeah. So she is going to enter a guilty plea before U.S. District Judge Glenn Davidson to 3 counts of a 10-count indictment. Sentencing, they make a deal with her. Sentencing is going to be a maximum of 15 years in prison. That's what she could get, and a $750,000 fine. Her daughter began also guilty pleas here, and she agreed to a sentence of 2 years for conviction on 1 count of mail fraud. That's the daughter. Yeah. Following that, Linda enters the courtroom bound in chains and wearing her orange prison pants and shirt. Yeah. She made no statements to the judge, just yes sir, no sir type shit. They asked her if she was on medication for depression. She said she was on medication for depression and for diabetes, but everybody said she's fine and competent to plead guilty. So they said she collected $275,000 from MetLife on 2 different policies, but sued Nationwide when the firm balked at paying a claim on $500,000. She tried to sue them. That's the balls on this lady.
Wow, man. I mean, also, you have to, though, because otherwise, if they don't pay, you got to go, yeah, I know, I shouldn't get the money.
That's crazy. She is sentenced to, you, ma'am, may fuck off 27 months in prison. For the federal shit. For the fraud. 3 years of supervised release and assessed $150. $50 for each count is a fine, and ordered that they make restitution of $275,000. So she owes $275,000 and $150. So October 2nd, 98, Charles Wayne Dunn pleads guilty to murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and arson. He is going to receive, you, sir, may fuck off 2 concurrent 20-year sentences. So that's 20 years. And then life with no parole.
Oh, shit. And that's a deal?
That's a deal he made.
Oh, my.
Because the death penalty was on the table for him.
Yeah.
And it was on the table for her.
Yeah.
But he's the actual murderer. So they were going to, they threatened him with
James,
that.
He's the torch.
Yeah, he's the torch, baby. Charles is a big flamer. We know that. So the insurance fraud thing, that's how that works. Now, August 1999, the trial, Linda's murder trial. The state elected to try Linda for conspiracy to commit capital murder, and prior to the trial, moved to amend the indictment to charge her as a habitual offender because now she is convicted federally. So now habitual offender, which makes her sentencing worse.
Yep.
It's a 7-woman, 5-man jury. And opening statements here, prosecutor, this is John Champion, he said that Young, meaning Lula, had been diagnosed with terminal breast cancer and had a radical mastectomy, but that the medical examinations for the insurance policies showed no evidence of the diagnosis. So he said Linda told insurance agencies she was Lula, posing as Linda, did the examinations at her house. They said these policies were issued by fraudulent statements and medical exams. Linda stood to gain $975,000 in the case of an accidental death of Lula Young. They said that Dunn confessed to the thing, got $5,000, said he killed her. Dunn said, quote, Lula wants this done. She wants to be put out of her misery. That's what Linda had told Dunn. That's what they tell in opening statements. The defense, on the other hand, they go, come on. I mean, I don't know.
Who would do that? Who would put somebody out of their misery by lighting them on fire?
Not your friend. Yeah. Your friend? Come on. Nobody kills their friend. That. So he says, listen, his client and the victim concocted this scheme together. The victim was ill and wanted the insurance benefits for when she died for her children, and that's what it's all about. So this is ridiculous. She would never have killed her for that money then. So she said her lawyer told the jury that Leadham had schemed with Young to get the insurance money for her young children. On one policy, they said the beneficiaries were changed from Lula's children to Linda's children because her children weren't responsible enough at that point. Okay. So they said, this is a quote from one of the prosecutors, Linda's defense was she was doing what Lula wanted, entertaining those policies fraudulently. The plan was for her to be the recipient of the money because the kids supposedly couldn't handle money. Charles Dunn testifies. Yeah. They get Brenda Driver in there to go, I saw her at fucking Walmart after I heard she was dead. It was crazy.
That's not even the lady that's dead.
I mean, imagine on the big, because they put it up on like the big thing so the jury can see it, like a big projection of all the policies they found. Imagine that. That is fucking insanity. So in closing arguments, the prosecution here, District Attorney Bobby Williams, said it's a clear, convincing case. What are we doing? He said it's a mountain of evidence was found in her own desk when a search warrant was served. Right. That shows all the insurance frauds. It proves this. And look who's collecting the money. It's her. So you don't have to connect a lot of dots here. The defense here in their closing arguments, William Massey, who's got to do some tap dancing here.
Yep.
He is going to be a metropolitan ballerina when he's fucking done with this. He's going to be pirouetting.
Spinning. Yeah.
Wow. He said that I don't challenge the insurance fraud aspects of the case. That we don't challenge. No. That was a scheme that they concocted together. So there's only one person to take the fall for that, and that's Linda, and she already did. So that's fine.
Okay.
But the murder, it's all that Dunn guy. It's all him.
He did everything. Yeah.
He did everything. He doesn't get any benefit for it. No. He just wanted to kill just wanted to kill a lady who just beat cancer. Thought it would be fun, apparently. Yeah. He said Dunn is the murderer. He is an arsonist, and he's a liar.
Okay.
That's it. He said he didn't get paid $5,000 from Linda. That's bullshit. That's their thing there. They said his motive, the motive for Dunn's testimony was a deal with the district attorney through which Dunn avoided the death penalty. So he had to say those things.
Right.
Okay. So the verdict comes in. She is found guilty of capital murder and conspiracy to commit capital murder. Not good. Not good at all. Now, sentencing comes around. Lula's younger brother here, he's pissed off, rightfully so. He said she's taken a lot out of our lives, meaning Linda, and spoke of Lula and said she wasn't ready to die when she did. Now we don't even have her here. Makes sense. And he was asking for the maximum sentence.
Oh, really?
Linda, that's what he's asking for. Yeah. Please give Linda the maximum sentence. The judge, oh boy, he is good, this one. Yeah. He spoke of their long-term friendship. This woman trusted you for almost 20 years. You were each other's, like sisters together. He said, quote, I know you must have cared for her, but her death was planned for a long time. That's the cruelest part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Quote, you are a cruel person. You don't deserve to ever walk the streets of Mississippi or anywhere else, and you won't. You will die in prison. You, ma'am, may fuck off. Life in prison, no parole. The dick-eating buffet is that way. Fuck off.
You don't even deserve to walk in Mississippi.
Not even in Mississippi. Not even through one of like the soft marshy shit. Not even that. Oh, by the way, another 20 years for conspiracy, just for shits and giggles. Why not? And guess what? We're going to run those consecutively, by the way. So that's when you're dead, another 20 we want out of you, which is pretty fucking awesome.
Oh, boy.
So they said that she will serve her sentence at Rankin County Prison near Jackson, where women are sentenced there. They said, as that's what they told her. And then as two bailiffs lead Linda from the courtroom, hands and feet shackled, out of nowhere, she begins cackling out loud, laughing.
What?
That's a sick bitch. That is
she
sick.
Laughed?
Like De Niro in Cape Fear, just
maniacal
cigar in her
bitch.
mouth. That is crazy. Think about how many people have been sentenced to life without parole plus 20 and cackled on their way out.
It is funny because she was about to murder somebody else, James. That's fucking hilarious.
I don't even think John Gotti did that.
No.
That's crazy.
Cackling.
So her reactions here, Lula's son said this, Mike, Linda Leadham was the greediest, most selfish, cold-hearted person that I ever met. Linda Leadham is exactly where she needs to be. My mom looked at the good in everyone. My mom tried to help anyone that she can with whatever she could. Yeah. Lula's brother said, what I never understood, though, is how you can go from friendship to that. Good question.
Yeah.
He said, that's the part I just never understood. He doesn't even know what to say. I mean, the guy's, how do you understand? They were best friends.
What are you supposed to do? Yeah.
Lula's younger sister, Margaret, said that, quote, I'm satisfied with the way that it came out the way it should. She'll be there until she dies. She's going to have a long, long time to think about what she's done and all the pain she's caused. Then they go, hey, what about Russ Stovall there?
Yeah.
What about him? Remember him, Robert Stovall? Well, the DA said the state is not going to prosecute her further.
Really?
They remanded 3 forgery counts against her for trial, but they said those will not be prosecuted, and neither will the Stovall affair at that point. Yeah, they said that they also that's for the fraud on Stovall, but then they said they dismissed a charge of conspiracy to commit murder against her as well. Because for Stovall, because they had another charge locked and loaded, but she got life without plus 20, so they said, fuck it.
Yeah.
Which they can always do it later. Sure. They can always charge her in case like she got off on appeal.
Right, yeah.
On the other one, they could charge her with this one. So they just kind of keep it in the back pocket there. So I guess her family serves as her guardian at their home. Oh, that's on Stovall. That's right. So 2001, Linda appeals. She appeals protesting evidence presented at her trial that she and Dunn had planned similar murder for insurance conspiracies involving Robert Stovall. Her testimony about that conspiracy says that had nothing to do with this case. Oh. Because it's other bad acts. It's future bad acts. It's not prior even. It's future.
It's some other time.
Linda argues, or her defense does, that Stovall plan cannot demonstrate anything meaningful regarding motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, or absence of mistake. So basically, you can't introduce that. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And they said no. The state said defendants on trial for bank larceny objected to the state introducing evidence that they committed a second bank larceny the next day. We concluded that the evidence that the defendants went into a second bank, reenacting essentially the same manner of theft that had occurred the day before, showed they had acted according to a premeditated plan in the larceny charged with more probable than without such evidence. So they said this is the same thing. The fact that there is other crime evidence showing that she had essentially the same plan and preparation to kill Robert Stovall has a tendency to make the fact that she and Dunn were acting according to a premeditated plan or agreement pretty fucking obvious what we're doing here, basically. So they say that that's part of that. And the judge, though, disagreed and upheld the conviction. Says, no, I don't think so. Get the fuck in there. Citing the other crime evidence as proof that they conspired together. He said there's also testimony that Linda posed as Robert Stovall's relative in order to take out insurance policies, much as she had done with Young. Same thing.
Right.
He said the policies on Stovall, to whom she's not related, were found in a search, and this is crazy. He said, quote, the Stovall evidence clearly demonstrates that Leadham may have acted according to a predetermined plan to kill Young, and that's admissible.
Unbelievable.
Also said the trial judge properly instructed the jury on how to consider the evidence presented on him as well. So there you go. So that she tries also certain very legalistic things she's trying to. They said that in terms of different counts of the insurance. They said, one, count 9 of that indictment alleged that on January 30th, 95, Leadham committed mail fraud, referring to her use of the mail to send a claim to on Lula's life. Even assuming that 2 counts relating to MetLife were a single incident, count 9 involving an entirely different insurance company is a separate incident and an attempt made by Linda to commit insurance fraud. So no error. So that's the type of, they're getting real ticky-tacky with all this shit. Yeah. Also, the jury instructions. She said that the jury should have been instructed on conspiracy to commit manslaughter and manslaughter instructions because the indictment insufficiently identified the type of felony she was charged with. She argues the indictment failed to specifically assert felony arson, so she could have been charged with misdemeanor arson under that code. The judge could have said that. So that's a person who recklessly or with gross malice causes a fire to be communicated to any woods, meadow, marsh, field, or prairie not his own. That's misdemeanor arson. If you accidentally set a fire in the woods.
Somebody else's shit. That's very specific.
That's not even a house. That's a whole separate charge. So they say, fuck off, back to prison with you. Now, Lula's daughter, the whole thing, she said, this is a good wrap-up, I felt the ultimate betrayal. My mother trusted Linda Leadham with her life, and that's what it cost her. Yeah. So, very good. That was a really succinct way to wrap that up.
Beautiful. She's been thinking about it for a while.
Yeah, that's a good quote. Now, Lula is buried at the LaFleur Cemetery in Grenada County, Mississippi. She was 47 when she died.
Jesus.
TV shows, the story was profiled on several, couple of them here. One is Stolen Voices, Buried Secrets, Out of the Ashes.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Wow, Stolen Voices, Buried Secrets, Out of the Ashes.
You can't do Out of the Ashes when the woman was burned alive.
I think that's why they did it.
Is that the name of the episode, or is that the whole
That's
series?
The name of the episode, Out of the Ashes. Yeah,
that makes sense, yeah.
And there's also I Killed My BFF. That's a show that was on. I Killed My BFF was a show, an actual show.
What a Jesus Christ. OMG, I killed my BFF.
Wow. OMG, I killed my BFF. LOL. Sad face emoji. That's what it's called.
Fuck is this? Where are we?
And the episode name is Mississippi Moms.
Yeah.
Now, under the trailer for that on YouTube is a weird exchange of comments.
Oh?
One says, I'm using a friend's account. I'm the granddaughter of Linda Leadham. My grandmother is innocent. My friend even agrees that this is false.
Okay. Well, your grandma's a fucking nightmare lady.
Well, it's replied to.
Yeah.
By Stacy Young, which is... That's Linda's.
That's the daughter.
Lula's daughter. Yeah. Lula's daughter. She said, I'm the daughter of the victim. If she was innocent, the state wouldn't have convicted her. That's all she says. Fuck off.
Enjoy Christmas in the clink, you dickhead.
Don't mean to be mean to you, but fuck you.
Yeah. Now, your grandpa's a piece of shit, too.
No shit. Now, I would like to say here, because we normally will do this on Crime and Sports, we do the not nearly as sorry as, we do people with the same name.
How many are there?
There are people in walks of life that definitely don't want to share the name with an arsonist murderer here.
Linda Leadham.
One is Linda Leadham. She's a nurse in Nashville.
Oh,
so that's tough because Linda was a nurse too. That's rough at the Centennial Surgery Center. Hey, don't be afraid of her. Yeah. She won't take out insurance policies and burn you alive in your own house. She's fine. I'm sure she does a fantastic job. Also, this is the worst one because it's on signs everywhere. Yeah. Linda Leadham, a real estate agent in Pennsylvania.
Oh, no.
That's rough, man. And also, I found Charles Wayne Dunn, Ph.D., Professor Emeritus at Regent University, who has a Ph.D., has written like 10 fucking books, and a distinguished career in government service and academia, serving at one point as Dean of the Robertson School of Government and Distinguished Professor of Government. He's the author of 19 books.
Wow.
Charles, not the same idiot, I don't think, a crackhead who killed people. Now that we got that crazy fucking batshit story over with, do want to do a quick update here for you.
Yeah.
Otisco, New York. I believe it was episode number 8.
8?
9? I think it was 8.
It was 9.
Might have been 9. 8 or 9. Yeah. It's the one from Otisco, New York. Yeah. So whichever one that is.
Way long time ago.
Yeah, the first fucking 2 months of our this show. There's a woman named Shirley Winters who was one of the sickest people we've ever talked about. She was pleaded guilty to manslaughter in 2008 in the death of a 2-year-old who she drowned in a bathtub where she was staying. That led to her admitting that she also caused the 1980 death of her son, but also exhumations and autopsies showed that 2 of her other children, Colleen and Johnny, who'd been found dead after a 1979 fire, suffered blunt trauma to the head before the fire.
Yeah.
She killed all her kids.
A monster.
She was responsible for 18 fires that they know of.
Right.
18 including
fires.
Ones where her people
Children
were fucking charred, and she killed her fucking children. She's a sick fucking lady.
Sick bitch.
She was up for parole here, and she was granted parole.
Say again?
2 weeks ago.
What?
Was granted parole. Yes.
20 years.
That is not, she'll be on parole. The district attorney, Bill Fitzpatrick, believes that she's not done, by the way.
No.
He straight up said in the newspaper on the internet, we initially tried to see if we could have her civilly committed, and my law people tell me that can't be done. I will insist that wherever she is, anybody with a child, anybody who's not physically able to take care of themselves, elderly or child, be notified of her existence in the community. She lives to kill.
She is the torch.
She is a fucking, lives to kill.
What a thing to say.
My God, she's like a demon.
Yeah.
She was released from prison and was placed in a secure psychiatric facility for the foreseeable future. Apparently, they have to make sure she's not loony here.
Right.
Her own daughter warns that her mom, who killed 2 kids and maybe more, will commit more crimes.
She survived the woman?
She said, quote, I'm absolutely terrified. This is her own daughter.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no way a serial arsonist and serial child murderer should be able to earn good time in prison because, of course, she's good in jail.
Yeah.
It's her perfect environment. She has medicine, it's controlled, she has care, and her favorite victims aren't present.
Right.
Exactly. Her daughter, Joy, is working with the DA and an arson investigator and a state senator to make changes that wouldn't allow repeat violent offenders to earn good time. She said, and so I still want to pursue the mission of addressing the problems with the law and changing it because not only is she a problem, but there's also lots of other people who should be evaluated the same way. She said she's using her story to show how this law affected people just like her. She said, I think that showing my face and expressing my concern in this way make people feel like they should be more concerned, and more people will get involved in making the change and maybe even vote for it if it's put up for a vote. Mm-hmm. Okay. She said she feels some relief that her mom's going to be put in a home, but not a lot, and she still needs answers.
Right.
She said, I'm hopeful that maybe they've done some kind of assessment or something's happened that makes them believe she needs to be committed for a longer period of time, and we're just unaware what that time could mean.
Yeah, because she's a horrible lady.
I'm hoping they'll keep her locked up.
How old is she?
I think 68.
That's not old enough.
Not old enough. Not old. There's plenty of energy left. It said, my dad's that age. He hops on a Harley. Fuck that. She's got
very
plenty of energy.
easily head on down to the Diamond Shamrock and pick up a Bic lighter.
God.
Oh, boy.
I would say so. She also says she's going to be released into the public and she's going to move in next to somebody. From everything that I know about her, if you make her angry, she's coming after you. Yeah. So if she doesn't like the way her neighbor looks at her, what's going to happen to their children or their home? Because not only does she murder children, she burns down people's homes and businesses. James. Wow. Joy said her mother fits the same profile as other prolific serial killers who appeared normal.
Yeah.
She said she never shows you who she truly is until she's standing outside your house with a can of gas or standing over the soaking wet body of your child, and by then it's too late. Yeah. Holy shit.
James, she is far too close.
I am terrified of this woman. Please keep her away. We're in the same state, and she is definitely going to be mad at us because we laughed our asses off at what a fucking idiot she is.
Dick.
So
yeah.
She's going to hate our guts. So everybody, I'm going to be putting a large gate around my house. So please donate to our Patreon, my gate fund, to keep Shirley Winters from murdering me in my own home.
She's a bad woman. And she has nothing
burning
to lose.
Burning it to the fucking ground.
She lost everything.
So I figure this episode's the perfect one to put the update on because it doesn't get any better. So if you like this episode or any of the episodes, tell the world about it. Get on whatever app you're on. There's always a place you can do reviews. If you kind of scroll down, and you'll see stars, click on them. Yeah. Give us 5 stars. Tell us anything. It doesn't matter. You could say something nice about the show. You could tell us what your favorite size of radial tire is.
Mine
I don't
too.
give a shit. Yeah, it's great. We'll agree with you. But definitely do that. Give a review. It helps out a lot. Mm-hmm. Also, head to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets now. Durham, May 31st. It's on, baby. We can't wait. Let's get there. Yeah. There's a few tickets left, so get them. Next night in Nashville is sold out. Let's see what you guys can bring, because every year we do amongst ourselves a little contest where we say, who is the loudest shut up and give me murder yellers there are when we do it? Who are they? So far, I think Sacramento beat San Francisco. Sacramento was very loud. Jesus. San Francisco was good too, but Sacramento, they were volume. So let's see. Will it be North Carolina? Will it be Nashville? What can you guys do? Also, we like to see how many people sing along to No Body, No Crime before the show starts.
That's how you find out how well this show's about to go.
Yep. You know if it's fun. If people are singing No Body, No Crime, we're like, oh, fuck yeah, this is going to be fun. Yeah. And it makes us real happy. So get your tickets right now. Some tickets have been released for Kansas City. So if you were wanting to go there when it's sold out, you can go now. They're opened up. Get those right now. Also, make sure to get New York and Boston. They're going fast. And Minneapolis, tickets there. Austin, tickets there. Come on, everybody. Let's do this shit. Oklahoma City, you guys are on the clock, too. We can't wait. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, get your merch because there's some real funny new stuff up. There's one with 2 people in cars and one of them shouting, shut up and give me murder at the other. That's very funny. Also, some Good Your Stupid Opinions shirts up, which I will say, listen to Your Stupid Opinions, our other podcast. Also, listen to Crime and Sports as well, our other podcast. They're hilarious, and you're going to love them whether you like sports or not. So check those out. Listen to that. Also, follow us on social media. We are at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook. You definitely want Patreon, everybody. Patreon.com/crime in sports is where you get all of the bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above, you can either have a cup of coffee or new episodes every other week and hundreds of back episodes to binge on. What would you rather have? I think you want that. And those are bonus episodes, not ones that have been published. So get in there and do that. This week, what you're going to get, which you get all of this, for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about the O.J. Simpson trial. What went wrong? How the fuck do you go from having DNA and all this evidence to not guilty? I'll tell you exactly how it happened. And it's not what you think it is. Most of it is pure, unmitigated incompetence. That's most of it.
All right.
That's most of it. And it's been tried to put on different things over the years, but when you watch it, you go, oh, I see exactly what's happening here.
Terrific.
There's people here who are terrible at their jobs.
We have dum-dums here.
And it's not even the people you think. So we'll get into all of that. Then, for Small Town Murder, something very creepy, gross, and just interesting. Inside Ed Gein's house.
Terrific.
Let's have a day in the life of Ed Gein. What's he up to? And then all of the things he has stored in his house, all the creepy shit. We'll do an inventory. It is fucking gross. We'll talk all about it. Can't wait to do that. Patreon.com/crime in sports. And you're up for a shout out, which happens right fucking now. Jimmie, hit me with those names, but please, please don't take out any extra insurance on me. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producer, Jordan Bennett, and Erica Norris, who is a rock star. Congratulations, Erica. Hang in there. You're doing great.
Thank you so much.
Other producers this week, James, are Peyton Meadows, John DeLong, Andrew Snow, Janice Hill, Kim W., Anthony Reddick, Ann Somerville, Kayla with no last name, Angela Anderson, Dave Barstow, Kristen with no last name, Brax with no last name, Allison Barnhill, Audrey Birch, Kick with no last name, Craig Jex, Alexis M., Sheila Croucher, Landon with no last name, Adarius King Senior, JV, Zoe Cowan, Crystal Tyler, Allison Prince, Brandon LeClaire, Anna Maria, Popsaskew, Carla with no last name, Ben Stainbrook, Sharon Motti, Sabrina Ligon, Amber Henke, Scott Anderson, Jennifer Hobson, Man Bear Pug. Oh, it's Man Bear Pug 2016. What's a Man Bear Pig? What is that?
I don't know. Just all
it's
things
from
they
something.
like. Man Bear and
Men, Bears, and Pigs. Man Bear Pig. Man Bear Pig is
Small
something.
Town Murder thing, I think.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Scott Niedermeyer, Laura Crowell, Sam Rodman, Rebecca with no last name, Ashley with no last name, Amanda Land, Drew Bittner, Lynn Little, Heather Roach, Mackenzie Ranslow. Me too. Marissa Yates, Zach Delaney, Zoe Doring, Gus Erickson, Sarah Warbus, Samantha DeJesus, Karen with no last name, Sea Dragons, Jimmy Roach, Victoria Thompson, Jim Landrum, Patty with no last name, Jado Hughes, Lee Macklin, we in the spirit world, asshole. I don't know what that means, but we are there.
We there.
We are. Carl Zufosky, Ian Pappy maybe, Catherine Forrester, Priest Corinne, Priest maybe, I don't know, Lee Boyd, Natalie Yulvin, oh, she's fantastic, Angela Goober, Joel Assigner, Owen Eads, Kara with no last name, Alinda Renninger, Dawn the Mail Lady, Walter, hello Dawn, hey. Kevin hello, Royce, and Anya Zawadska. Anya Zawadzka. All right, Nicole Simon, Andy Snow, Jill Chipman, Tiffany Wilson, Tyler McMillan, Christopher, nope, that's Crystal, Srigovitz, Matt Hine, Amy Marie Reeves, Kyle Patterson, Melissa Watson, Kelsey Clark, Kitty Garza, Sean Moton, Kat Young, Nikita, Elizabeth, Autumn with no last name, Deborah Rapazzi, Justin Ben Scoter, Taryn Morgan, Michelle Zaharias, David Dugan, Griggy, 409, Joe Chowcraft, Christopher Perry, Lisa Rondi maybe, Hillbilly Deluxe. That's a great song. Yeah. Little Drop Kick, Jeremy Kiope, Cope, Chris Cole, Kevin Pruitt, Heidi Cayute, Gaietta, Nicole La Riviera, Sam Young, CM, Ethan, the letters C and M, Ethan Neal Whitney with no last name, Carmel Drizzle, Sarah Gregory, Michelle Conaboy, Brittany Ryan, Robert Costa, McKenna Mathis, Sabrina Argila, Morgan Snyder, Shanna Carter, Diane Clifton, Matthew Harvey, Shannon Brandt, A. Williams, Gail with no last name, Oma Julie, D and B, Lisa Gregg, Xavier with no last name, Chris Voorhees, Finn High, Jason Reagan, Terry Harden, Jonathan Chatfield, Rachel Caputo, Kevin McCormick, Michelle Strozzi, do you? Is that right?
Absolutely.
Abigail Crittenden, Carrie Atkins, Gayla Wynn Moreau, Jaskarit Bahura.
Not that one, no. No one in my family with that last name.
Bahura? No? Bora?
Caputo, yes, that no.
I got a cousin named Jaskarit. I mean,
the whole last name.
The runes picked the letters. Jessica Wright, Lloyd Dobler maybe, Jake Clark, Marilyn Lackey Wellman, Jorge P, Amy A. Bear, Dorian Mann, Lisa Quigley, Stinky Butt Contreras, Justin Elmore, Katie Van Zandt, Becky Remington, Catherine Stumberg, Laughhead, Jane with no last name, Kia with no last name, Riley Patterson, Lynn Pett, Terrence McCall, no, that's Terrence Carroll. Sweet Poop Tatoes. Yuck. What the fuck? Joanna Manabat. Corey Helmericks. Emily Rang. Jason with no last name. Jane with no last name. Joshua Cross. Angie with no last name. Donna Fullerton. Tyler Schilling. Matt Dennis. Lauren with no last name. Rachel Carver. Emma Farwell. Jake Larson. Ben Smith. Jenna Hartwood. Jay Cass. Magnagaro. What is this? It's just a name, James. One word, Magnagaro. James with no last name. Misty Shook. Adam Booth. Cameron with no last name. Carolyn Fisher. Kate Trober. Anderson Edison. No, it's Andrew. Clara Schuler. Charles Castagna. Amanda B. Ruben Best. Justin Brockway. Alan Cruz. Elizabeth Knight. Angie Prestegard. Yep, Maureen with no last name, Laura Hinchcliffe, Jenna Lynn, Lauren Hart, Milo Jones, Cody, and all of our patrons. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. Honestly, from the bottom of our fucking hearts, we cannot thank you enough for all that you do for us. Seriously, we just thank you for everything you do. And even just spreading the show, just telling your friends about it, going, hey, there's this funny podcast. Right. It helps so much. Anybody, we could put ads out and it wouldn't matter for
Doesn't
dick.
Change a thing. Yeah.
The thing you listen to is when somebody, no one wants to be advertised to, but when your friend goes, I laugh my ass off at this show. They go, oh, shit, we have the same sense of humor. What
So you
show is that?
trust. Yeah.
You're looking for that. So it helps a lot. Do that. Spread it on social media. Speaking of social media, if you want to follow us on social media, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Drop down menu. Links to all that shit. And like we always say, until next week, everybody, it has been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.